Sorry I'm late.
It's okay. Everybody else was too.
It sounds like it. I'd planned on being there in person, but I got out of, I was only 10 blocks from you an hour ago.
Kind of surprised that you're here. So I was like, okay, like what am I saying? Actually, peace. So I mean, if you're a warrior,
How have you been doing, sir?
economic prosperity and like respecting.
Doing okay. We are live on
Sorry, I'm
Facebook
late.
now.
That's fine.
Not a lot of stiff competition in my lifetime.
That is that. Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. So we're going to give it 15 more minutes. I'm going to sit down and finish my breakfast. And then, you know, the snow delay, everybody's kind of just now getting here. A lot of people are still on Zoom, even though this was an in-person meeting. So we're just gonna hang out for a little bit. I'm gonna turn our camera off too, so you guys aren't sitting there watching me eat.
Sorry, I haven't heard of robotics today.
Okay.
Wanted everybody to vote for William McKinley. Because that's kind of where all the precedent starts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was really insane.
Well, they don't
The
know
one
where-
that, he didn't do
Where
much
is
with it, but he set the
Virginia-
framework
Virginia-
for all we gave it executive power, and then everybody came and used it.
Oh, that's
When you
nice.
shake your hand, what should you mean?
Michael Soltines is Fort Reagan.
Oh, okay.
If an air days, he's which side of this?
I don't know why I get this. I always forget that I'm definitely my left ear.
She heard it was the tradition chair out there that- She heard it was the tradition chair, and heard it somewhere else.
My lefty professor was also super surprised that I put Reagan as low as I did. I had him almost do the bottom. Well, like, he hates Reagan because he's a lefty, and Reagan's rhetoric was very much like,
He's over
socialism,
here.
like, yeah, liberty government, they like grew everybody.
If he held near Richmond.
You know,
Yeah.
and Contra.
One of my favorite was the legislation on national vaccine act, which took over.
So like of the modern presidency, I think Jimmy Carter eighth total, because we're talking about like getting rid of actual government agencies.
That was me.
He got rid of the interstate commerce. Commission. He abolished the civil aeronautics law. He created some cabinet for
Oh, there's some right over
It's
here.
a big
Oh, yeah.
news.
Oh, gosh, that's all. Yeah.
It was actually communist.
Yeah, we could probably use a refill on the
It's
coffee.
a big news, read that or something. Do you remember that?
Sounds
The guy that was like the secret advisor to President Kennedy. It's a big deal. It was some sort of Russian. I started putting in letters and maybe people will tell me.
I did all this in a night, so I didn't like deep dive everyone,
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke, sort of.
Fantastic.
but. And I don't know how much of it was Carter actually wanting to do it, or how much he was just kind of like responding to what the situation was. But he was like, hey, here's these like government agencies that all they do is like chain down the trucking and like aviation industry. Maybe just get the fuck rid of them and see if that does anything.
But let's say
And he tried.
Clinton would have been a far different president than he could have.
He was kept in check by,
Google name.
that name sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's a big move. Resume. So that's how you pronounce it. Well, that's not how you pronounce it. That's how you spell it. I'm like.
It's a Polish name.
Yep.
Oh, is that Polish? Not
Looks like
Russian?
it.
Nothing shocks me.
Let's see.
Z-Big. Polish American, did that political scientist, good job. Councilor William Johnson, so you know he was an ass. Do this. That's it, primary organizer of the tribe.
I was trying to see if
That's
Dwight
why I
could
said it's
run
like
that.
secret shell government pulling
It's
parties.
weird. He looks like an Eastern European LBJ.
Oh, damn, it is that ugly. It's hard to reach that.
Like,
ugly. Maybe we should-
Doesn't he look like LBJ, but if LBJ was in like the communist bloc? That's creepy.
You know, I think Reagan was like the perfect archetype for this whole
Yeah,
thing, which is,
cowboy.
I'm gonna tell you all these things that I believe in,
Uh-huh.
and you're gonna be like, I believe in every one of those things, but I'm gonna pass all these things that you would hate.
Yeah.
Well, and to
And
kind
then
of
I'm gonna say, well,
parallel
it wasn't my
Clinton,
fault, I didn't have a choice.
to kind of parallel Clinton though, you know, Reagan did go most of his administration with a Democratic Congress. And Reagan was like, I don't want to shrink government except for the military budget. I want to increase. So he goes to
Yeah.
Congress. He's like, look, I want to increase military budget and a decreased domestic budget. The Democrats are like, well, we want a decreased military and an increased domestic. I'm like, all right, let's compromise and just raise them both. He's like, okay.
Lower taxes and we'll call it a day.
I don't see where raise besides tax cuts. I don't see where he's libertarian at all.
And the thing about tax cuts, I love tax cuts, but when they come with spending increases or a lack of spending decreases, they're kind of bad. It's like you have to do both. You can't just.
Well, that's the other. I would say. Yeah, no, it's like most Republicans. I have zero income. And if I spend nothing, I have no debt. Spending is the only thing that gives you debt. So we have a spending problem.
What the so-called statute Republican will claim out there is, oh, the economy grows, we'll grow our way out of debt. That doesn't work.
No, because they're constantly stealing from the top. If you keep kicking cream off the top, you never.
If we free spending for 10 years, we probably wouldn't.
If we wanted to balance the budget, and this was pre-Trump, Trump and Biden had both like shattered records of deficit spending, so the numbers have changed. But like toward the tail end of the Obama administration, the math was, if we, over the course of 10 years, reduce the entire federal budget by a quarter, 25% reduction, we'd start to break even.
Oh, just in his years.
What's that?
Just in his 8 years, we put that for.
Well, no, so like the math that I saw was run at the end of his tenure. So they go, okay, at current projections.
Mr. Poland.
everything, if we started to cut, like 2.5%.
I'm going to make you a co-host. If you can keep an eye out
We'd get our way out.
for people.
But then Trump would like ramp it back up.
I said Mr. Poland. Chuck
I'm
Poland.
sorry.
Got worse.
Chuck,
Got it. I'm doing all that right now.
making you a co-host.
Got it.
So if you can let people in, keep an eye out. We will be expecting around 1:30 Oliver Hall to join. Please let me know when he's in the
They say
room.
they want this,
You got it.
and they're not in power, and they'll try 50.
Everybody, remember, all the SCC members, in the email you received, 2 emails if you're also a county party. You should have received, you all got your email. In the email, there was a link to the agenda for the business meeting. So there's that. I did, Mr. Nolan, print them for today, but you're not here, so sorry for you. So we'll go ahead and Alyssa. Madam Secretary.
Yesterday. For town council, 23 yesterday.
Madam Secretary.
You change money or you press some money, I'm now accepting money for free meetings.
Money for my own candidate, for my district.
Chuck, did you, when you muted everybody, can they unmute themselves?
I think so, can't they? Or can they not? I was trying to mute everybody so you could talk, and I think I muted you in the process, so.
You did, and I didn't catch it at first.
Why would it mute them? I don't understand why it would mute you, but I'm trying to, hang on.
I don't know either. But it's okay. There's Alyssa. Alyssa, are you ready?
Can she ask?
Yeah,
Can she not?
sure.
Okay.
Can you do secretary role from where you're
Yeah,
at?
okay. I've got my laptop.
Okay, cool. I need you. Okay.
I was like, Andy, probably. Listen, who's not your candidate? And not my candidate, anyone.
Oh, absolutely. Tell Bart, absolutely. Tell Bart, not the moneymaker. Always a gut shot when you punch a candidate.
Hey, it is 10:57. I'm going to call the Libertarian Party of Indiana February business meeting of the SCC to order. Time is 10:57, Saturday, February 12th. We are in mixed company of present and on Zoom. Snow delays and apparently a robotics conference have separated us. I would like, Madam Secretary, for the record to reflect who was actually here in person, not as a dig, not as a, you know, nothing, no shade, but shade.
I'm sorry. I would rather be there, I promise.
Madam Secretary, are you ready to call the roll?
Yes, I have it set up. So, but since I'm not there, would people please let me know if they are there by raising their hand, or if they're on Zoom, just say Zoom. Okay, Chair, you are there. Vice Chair Lucy.
Here. She's here.
Lucy. I'm here via Zoom. Michael, Treasurer, you are there. You made it. Political Director, Jared. Not there. IT Director, Chuck.
He's here.
Field Director, Morgan.
Zoom, soon to be in person.
Oh, you will be in person? Okay.
I will be, yes.
Okay, thank you. Student Director, Rosalind.
Doctor.
Not present. No. Absent.
Absent. Okay. District 1, Chuck Pullen.
I am here via Zoom.
Thank you. District 2, Elizabeth.
Cassie Roland is here via Zoom, filling in for District 2.
That
Okay,
was approved in writing, was requested in writing and approved.
Okay. I'm sorry, is your name on, like, is it on the participants list?
It just says Cassie. I can't change my
Oh.
name for some reason.
That's okay. Yeah, I think I know your last name.
Cassie Roland, R-O.
Yeah. Kathy, yeah.
Cassie, C-A-S-S-I-E.
Okay. And you are proxy for Elizabeth. Okay, District 3, Christy.
I'm on Zoom currently, but I'm on the way to be in person.
Okay, that works. Thank you. District 4, Dennis.
Zoom today.
District 5, Greg Nolan.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
District 6, Luke.
I am in person.
District 7, Kent.
Here via Zoom.
District 8, Jay.
Present in person.
And District 9, Greg.
Here in person.
If Greg Hirsch can make it. No, I'm just kidding.
Should be known that south of Erie, there's no snow.
Oh, I almost forgot. Sorry. Communications, Michelle.
Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. I copied off Mr. Nolan. Thank you so much.
No problem. And what guests do I have?
You have Joe Houtman from Boone County. You have Danny Lundy from Morgan County. And is that it? That's it for now. I think there are additional people potentially coming as well. I don't know if there are any other guests on Zoom.
I'll double check. I think we're good.
Bill Hall to join us via Zoom later. Just FYI. Or not Bill Hall. I'm sorry, Oliver Hall. Sure. Okay. So the only two people who are missing are the political director and the student director. Is that correct? Okay. 12 for 12. Yeah. Appointment of timekeeper. I'm going to ask somebody here to keep the time. Chuck, can you be the timekeeper? Mr. Hagerman is appointed timekeeper. Adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to request a item under new business for disbursement.
Okay. That would actually go under unfinished business or general orders because the disbursements are a standing part of the budget.
Then
So
request
under
for
bylaws committee.
Yep.
Okay.
item E under section 9.
Mr. Solomon has asked for, in addition to the bylaws, under unfinished business, item E, 8th district disbursement. I'm going to ask for an item E, actually, item D, an item to be moved ahead of the under new business. So move and renumber Morgan County co-sponsored event.
So it'll be Morgan County and E will be the executive session.
Correct. Any objection to those amendments?
How much time are you giving Morgan County?
Let's give Morgan, let's give them both. Mr. Stallman, how much do you need?
I'll request 5 and try not to take it.
Okay, 5 minutes, same for Morgan County.
And where are you putting J?
Section 9E.
Oh, okay.
To the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Accept the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Any objection?
So moved.
Okay, we're hearing no objection. The agenda is adopted. Okay, chair's report. We secured the voter list again, and actually you can slide that down to Mr. Schulteis. That's the receipt from the check to the Secretary of State's office. We've already started our next round of getting payments from the vendors that we work with. We already got one from Aristotle, which I believe was just after our last business meeting. So that did come in. You know, we've got probably another $10,000 to $15,000 on the table that we should have within the next month to 2 months from our vendors list on that. Lots of training that we've been doing. I did not put a CRM section. I thought I would just talk about it in my chair's report. We are switching the date of our CRM access training to Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. The reason why we're doing this is we're actually using the national party's event registration system so that people actually get all of the documents and everything, and it's streamlined as opposed to me yelling at people saying, hey, you haven't done this yet. You have to do each thing through each of the steps before it triggers the next step. So that's nice. They do it Thursday and Saturday. We are forking from them. So on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock, they were doing it at 8. I said, I don't want to go that late. Let's go at 7. When you join the meeting, there's the national training and there's the Indiana training. And the reason why is because the national training is very much how you log in. And how do you do a search? They don't talk about things like how to add an event for your county, how to create affiliate, or how to create activities. They don't talk about adding the local contributions, you know, how these things are relevant to your growth as a county party. It's just done like a program standpoint of log in, look at X, post Y. And they like the way we're doing it. They're gonna sit on a couple of ours. They've recommended other states sit in on ours, so that they can get a better idea of how to use the CRM form. So when you join the event on Thursday nights, you have to pre-register, go through the steps. When you end up attending the Zoom meeting, you will go to the Indiana breakout room. So you'll leave, you know, the crappy class behind and come join the cool kids in Indiana.
Where do we find the link for that Zoom meeting?
So you have to register for it, and I'm going to be sending out to all of the county officers and everything that link. And also you would use that same link for the registration for any volunteers in your county that you would like to have access. Now you have to be vouching for them as a county party officer that they should have access. We'll come into questions in a second. I've been talking, and I'm going to be vague about this because it's going to be a really big deal that will be announced at the convention. But I've been talking to a longtime member who has not been engaged in the party for several years. Actually, the last time this person was engaged with the state party was before I was in the state party. They're very happy with what we've been doing as a state party, our messaging, our activity, our growth, our infrastructure development. So they're going to be, actually, the check was sent yesterday, and it's somewhere between 15 to 20,000.
I didn't hear that.
Can you do that?
Yeah. We can take unlimited.
Really?
From their state account. That's why we have two. And it's okay. Hold on 1 second. It's okay, because if we can't, someone that goes to jail.
No.
Yeah, what I said was that I can't go into a lot of detail about it, but it'll be announced at the state convention. But a longtime party member who hasn't been active with us for over a decade has been really impressed with the work that we've been doing, our infrastructure building, our messaging, everything that's been going on. And so they sent us a check for between $15,000 and $20,000 yesterday.
Just out of curiosity, they're not in the 8th district, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it will be
Are
shocking.
they close?
Nope,
No.
not even close.
Steve.
Nowhere-
Hang on the border?
Yep.
Yes,
Are there any codicils on how to spend that money, or is it open money?
yes, there are, but I can't talk about it until the convention.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
That's pretty much it within the chair's reports. We've done a lot of the training. We've been working with Lucy on the convention, visiting the site. And we'll have some updates on that. Our membership is still growing. We are increasing. Mr. Hoffman pointed out the other day, I believe it was you, that we are, what was it, sixth? In the country. So we surpassed our top 10 goal. We just did it a few months too late.
Well, actually, you're 8th in total membership, we're 6th in concentration. Okay, in other words, density of libertarian.
Yeah, per capita. So one of the other interesting things is we saw the national tech team put out, they kind of track usage within the CRM. And we have the highest open rate of our emails of any of the other state parties and the national party, percentage wise. We also have the highest engagement of any other state party. It's Indiana and Pennsylvania. And it was like 21 to 18. We have 21 unique users. That means 21 people who have the ability to access the CRM did. They had 18. So that's, you know, that's me, that's Chuck, that's Jay, that's Michael, that's some county treasurers, that's Luke, that's anybody who has been gone through the training. We had, it was 22 active users in 1 week, unique users in 1 week to their, 17 or 18. But that is triple other states. And when you compare what Indiana and Pennsylvania have been doing in terms of how many new contacts we get, how many new members we get, our donations that come through the system. I mean, it's really clear, like on all the graphs, everything that you could measure, Indiana and Pennsylvania are up here. It looks like the top two. And then everybody else is way down here at the bottom of the graph. And we're just miles ahead of everybody else. And the other states are asking, how are you doing? And it's like, well, we do it. We don't sit around and talk about it, we do it.
I think it'd be even more interesting to see what the percentage is too, because I know Pennsylvania has more districts than we do.
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
How's that distributed via district in the LPIN?
I don't know. I know membership, the 8th district has the majority of the membership, but not the majority of the fundraising.
Yeah, I know that too.
And not the majority of CRM users.
Really?
Yeah. Wait, hold on. You're in the, what district are you in? What's Morgan County?
What's today's date?
Currently, what was it? Yeah. So, yes, the 9th was the most.
Congratulations.
We should make a game out of that. We should make, make that.
Oh, CRM access?
Yeah, CRM access.
I've got 3 in my county, is that right? 4. It might be a 4th. I can't remember who the 4th was.
Well, the 3rd one technically didn't finish the training, so they're.
Yeah, it got botched, and we've got to go back. That's why I wasn't counting.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm in.
That's a little.
I
That's one.
Right. I mean, percentage wise.
Time.
You had a question?
I just wanted to be added to this training.
Okay, yeah, you should get it automatically, it's the whole SCC would get it too, the link. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, next on the agenda is Secretary. Madam Secretary, your report.
Hi, sorry, I'm at a robotics competition. I would love to be there with you guys. Update, I have received delegate submissions from 10 counties, Whitley, Hamilton, Shelby, Grant, Johnson, Marshall, Kosciuszko, Monroe, Owen, and Jackson. I know Boone County had their convention. And if you didn't hear any of your county's names on there, double check with me. And that's about it. Yeah.
I know Morgan County did. They submitted theirs because they were the first ones to submit their convention delegates, and they've already been credentialed on our sheet.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, they were way ahead of everybody else. You're correct.
I will say this for a fact, they were the first.
As usual. Don't get revenue.
We also need to give out badges to the county parties that do something better or before Morgan County.
Badges?
I'm working on it.
We don't need no stinking badges.
We're gonna call it the better than badge.
I have one handwritten here.
True.
What in your district?
Any
In my
questions?
state, in my county.
Any questions for the secretary? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Schulteis, treasurer's report.
Unlike the past few meetings, I do not have this on a scrap of paper. So I sent out a flood of PDFs last night. As of yesterday, across all of our accounts, we have $58,971.17. As usual, our accounts payable is not necessarily accurate. It still shows $2,250 owed to gasoline. I do believe we are not completing that project, so that might be able to be removed from our books. We also have convention expenses. We submitted the reservation for our 1994 society breakfast. That is approximately $2,000 without gratuity. And I don't know what the estimated balance for the convention is. It's normally roughly $10,000. So
it's 12.
Okay. So we have at least 14 or 15,000 in outstanding accounts payable that are currently known, plus anything that we've already budgeted for monthly reoccurring.
The analyze should stop soon because we were paying for the year up front, but we won't be paying for a second year. We'll be using the year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, because we haven't actually started using the service yet. I think we're going to be hopefully ironing out the last little bit of kinks. I think we've got like 2 or 3 meetings scheduled.
It should be ready to go by convention instead of.
So that should fall off there as well. I'm actually probably going to try to see if we can get out of our contract for the call to action software, because National now has a different software vendor. They asked us about ours. They loved ours. They went to somebody else and had Civi integration written into somebody else's. And I'm like, you guys are assholes. The other service they're using is actually cheaper than ours, and it integrates directly into Civi. So we'll see if maybe we can get out of that contract. That'll
Does it-
save us another $4,000 a year.
Is their software gonna require it all to sit on one guy's desk and wait for approval for everything? Like,
I'm sorry?
like, is there gonna be a choke point at National for that? So if we want to call to action, do we have to send it to,
Nope.
you know, theoretically Andy Burns, and then he sends you shitty emails?
No, that was one of the things that I did ask about, is it's our account. We actually pay for it. They have a plugin that's written that goes to our Civi install. Yeah, no, but yeah, that was something to think about with those kind of things. Any
No reason
questions
why.
for Mr. Schulteis? Yes.
Can you tell me what the amount or the project's amount for $8,037 is just for January?
Remember, I don't know what your breakdown is.
Not offhand, and a lot of it has been things like the recurring payments for social media and things like that.
So it's the digital ads that we approved.
But that's just everything just from the month of January?
Yeah,
8,000.
but then that's also, or that's including the tents.
Yeah.
And that and everything, so that's all of that.
Did we get those today?
No, we're gonna do it at the convention.
Okay.
But we're gonna have one set up at the convention too.
Very nice.
Any other questions?
Our accounting software limits us on the amount of accounts we can have. That's why things are in things like projects rather than individual things.
All right, hearing no more questions for the treasurer. And thank you, by the way, because when I got that deluge of reports, I was like, did he like triple send these things? And I was real confused and yeah. All right, Lucy.
Vice Chair's report, pretty much nothing going on except for the convention. Didn't have anything to show up at or any couple of appearances to make. So I'll just talk about the convention and yield the time back. Unless anybody has any vice chair type questions.
Any questions for the vice chair? All right, hearing none. Communications, Ms. Holiday.
Hello. Okay, just working on the LPIN Fireside Chat series. The newest information is it will be released monthly on a definitive schedule of the second Wednesday of every month. We have the premiere all ready to go. Our next guest up is our esteemed chairman. And then following that, we're going to be covering the candidates. So each candidate will have a really spectacular, fantastic interview that they can put, you know, on their websites or email out or whatnot to introduce themselves to everyone. And that's about it. I would love some feedback when you see these. I've had a little bit of great feedback, but everybody feel free to add questions, especially that you feel should be asked to our candidates pertinent to the Libertarian Party. But that's pretty much what I'm focused on right now. Thank you very much.
I think we should announce to the counties who the next guest will be so that they can submit questions, but we don't do it publicly. We keep it hush hush, but we let the county officers submit questions to Michelle. The quality of the actual video output, and are you using StreamYard, Michelle?
For the output itself, I just use Zoom, straight up record.
We have a Zoom account. Actually, I have a Zoom account that I pay for that I let the party use. Let's set it up. Me and you work together to set that up on StreamYard because the output quality for Zoom is about 340 megs. So it's not great, and that's a Zoom limitation. But on StreamYard we can actually do HD. So let's work to transition it over to StreamYard.
Great.
Still do it. We can still do it recorded. We don't have to do a live thing with it, so it can be recorded and then released on when it's supposed to be. While it's released the second Wednesday of the month, it is filmed the month prior. Does that make sense to everybody? Any other questions for Michelle?
Yeah, are these editable videos?
No.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I don't like to be.
You seem to be the one that actually knows what's going on. I'm at
Oh. I thought it was to me. Sorry. In
case we have a candidate that like stutters over themselves or something, can we edit that out and make it look better?
Absolutely. That's my whole thing, is to make everybody look really good. Or if they misanswer, you know, they have some sort of, it was 27 and then 10 minutes later they want to redo the answer or something. That's why I don't like live, to be honest with you, for anyone that's not used to broadcasting, because it's very easy to become confused or stumble or something. But yes, indeed. Short answer, absolutely. Yes, editable.
Thank you.
Okay. Political?
Here.
Gary, you here? Bueller. I'm going to skip it and go. We will talk about political when we do go to elections and finish business. Field director, Mr. Rigg.
I just have only one item.
And be sure to speak up so that the Zoom can hear you.
I've only got one item. I've been to 4 county conventions, all of them this month. Kosciuszko on the 1st, Whitley and Grant both on the 5th, and then Allen County on the 6th. They were well attended. There were at least Whitley had at least 3 or 4 members that were there. The average, I think, about half a dozen or so or more people in attendance, if not just members as well. It was all of them were good meetings. They went well. And I will say also noticeably, as far as the business aspect of it, they went quickly fast.
Good. I would say, Mr. Rigg, I'd like for you to work with Michelle McCutcheon at National. for volunteer outreach. There's some things that she's working on onboarding volunteers. She asked me a couple weeks ago to attend that, and I didn't want to. So I didn't. But she wants to work with us on that. And so I'd like for you to work with her and try not to, because one of the things we do kind of fall down on is our volunteer engagement from the state party. We typically send them to the county, which is great because that's where a lot of the activity is, but we need to be engaging people to do some things for the state party as well. So please do not remove the luster from the LPIN shininess of what National thinks about the LPIN when they realize that that portion is smoke and mirrors. Let them believe that illusion. So don't destroy that for them. But work with her. She's got some good ideas, and then just kind of report back what recommendations she suggests and what you need to implement them. They're probably going to be technical aspects, so you may want to also CC that to Chuck. Any other questions for Mr. Rick? All right, IT students. Anything for students? Nope, nothing for students. I did actually receive 2 emails from college students asking about creating a campus affiliate. One was at Ball State, was at Purdue.
I have a friend in Delaware County that is considering joining the party and becoming a temporary chair. He is still considering his options as far as what time of consumption will be, but I'm coaching him through that, so.
Connect him with Katie Thornburg, because Katie Thornburg wants to take Delaware and Jay under her wing so that she can help them recruit some candidates and become affiliated. So Katie Thornburg, she's in your district.
Yeah. I'm thinking Miles, but I don't know about Katie.
I just talked to her yesterday about this too, so that'd be great.
Barely in his district, right?
Barely.
Because she's switching to mine.
Are they both?
They are.
Randolph?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Randolph and Delaware are
Yeah.
both. I think I'm losing. I'm keeping Delaware, but I am losing.
Yeah, you are losing Randolph.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Okay.
I'm also getting district, Madison County, Greg.
Pardon me?
I said I'm also getting Madison County in the trade for Randolph.
Is it Madison meeting tomorrow too?
The trade, all I did was get shit.
I'm not sure.
That's 21 now.
Moving on, Mr. Hagerman, IT.
All right, I'd like to start off by thanking Brian Day from Whitley County. He included me on the email where he announced his delegates because they had a new secretary elected, and I have now updated that on Civi and on our LP. But I appreciate when things change, people keep me in the loop because I will get those things updated almost immediately if I know. Wasn't a big month for me. I continue keeping Waldecott donations updated in Civi. I was able to get some additional photos for the LPIN.org site. We are only missing Dennis and Jay. And that is it. So
You asked me for one, I said you won.
So I created a new candidate form, but the chair has decided he would rather I use standard Google form functionality, so I will be creating a new one. The first one I did, I programmed in Google Sheets, which was nice, but I do think now that I see that it's possible to do it in Google Forms and make it editable, because someone sent one to me that was editable, I think that will be fine too. And I assisted Jay in setting up a contribution page. I don't know if it's done yet,
No, I got a very polite, I'll get around to it when I get around to it
Okay.
from Andy Burns.
So,
That's why I'm asking for money, because we're still.
So this is our first attempt. Jay's been very patient, and we'll see to what extent we've gone.
What? I will circle back with Andy on that.
He sent me an email that was like, I've got a lot on my plate, so, I'll get around to it, we'll get around to it.
He made, we talked about, not you specifically in district, but we talked about those affiliate pages, and he said basically that I just needed to create them, and he would give me the short codes for creating what I want to have on them, and I was like, okay, we'll do that. We meet every Friday from 10 to 11. Yesterday, we started at 9:30 and we went until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Next week, we're doing the exact same thing. All good stuff, all things being fixed. That was something I was going to mention. I'm going to eat some of your time. We now have alerts, email alerts that go out when your membership expires. When you lapse, you will get an alert that's tokenized for your membership type. So you're not just going to get something that says, hey, your shit expired. It's actually going to say, hey, your triple membership lapsed. Here's where you click to renew it. We're also, for people who are auto renew, the month and the week before it auto renews, you will get a reminder that it is auto renewal.
It wasn't doing that before?
No.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, the member that sent you the fuck off commie, he renewed.
It wasn't an auto. He renewed. He went and renewed. Me and Adrian talked about it last night, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Does this include the people who have already lasted before they get us those also?
No, I'm actually going through and emailing people. I sent, a lot of people got an email directly from me and they were hand done. It wasn't an automated thing between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Thursday. Because I was awake. And so that's what I sent out. There was about 35 to 40. I've got like another 30 more to do. Of people who have lapsed within the last 6 months to let them know. So it won't do the ones that are outside the window, but from now on, before you lapse, like before your membership renews, if it's not an auto renew, it will send you a reminder, a couple reminders. Then when you lapse, it will send you a reminder, a couple of reminders until you do it. If you're auto renew, it will send 1 month before your auto renew, and then the week before it auto renews, and then the day it does, you get your receipt. There are a lot of other things that are changing with the CRM. That's why we're going to do the advanced CRM training at the convention. 1 to 2 hour block of training. There's a lot of new features that are coming on board. The mass email is still not done. So I have stopped telling people when it will be done because it's always next week. It'll be done when it's done. Andy's testing it right now. We're doing a lot of the stuff like the pages. We're actually doing it. Every district has a campaign now. Even if they don't, actually, you're the only one that actually has one, but they are set up. Importing for all 92 counties so that each county is already in the system, whether they're active or not. So lots of stuff that we're doing to make things, the functionality easier and better, including every email that's going to go out gives people the link to update their contact information. So if you moved or anything like that, you can update it. We're going to send out one email, probably schedule it for every 6 months, asking people to update their information. Updating credit card information is still not possible. You can call me, Michael, or Chuck, and we can do it for you, but it can't be done by the user on the website. National has spent about $5 grand to develop an API to allow it. It still doesn't work. So, and it's side, it's not on the city side. Stripe says it should work. They provide their end of the code, and then it doesn't work. So we don't know when that's going to be done.
All right, this will over time. In my report.
District 1, Mr. Pollen.
Hello, District 1 here. So the only thing I have is that we have 2 conventions on Thursday, the 17th. We've arranged with Porter County. So they'll have their convention about 30 minutes from our convention to accommodate anyone that would like to come visit us. I think everyone, all the candidates that are visiting, I think have already reached out. But if anybody has a candidate that wants to speak at both conventions, just reach out to me and we can accommodate them. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Pollen. Cassie, did Elizabeth give you any report for the 2nd district?
Yeah, she told me that she attended a Laporte social that had different types of members, and that's basically it for District 2.
Marshall County held their convention and had a change in officers, and all of their stuff has been filed. They already updated their CFA 3 with the state. They did the correct thing, and when they sent the CFA 3 to the Indiana Election Division, they CC'd me on it, which is good. That way I can be aware when it's happening. And Abby said, thank you. And then nothing happened. She never updated. And so they reached out to me and said, hey, we're not seeing it updated on the website. I'm like, how long should we wait? And I was like, well, that was a Wednesday, and now it's Tuesday. It should have been done. So I just sent her a thing, said, hey, what's up? And she was like, well, this is who's listed as their treasurer and secretary. And it turned out she basically got it, forgot, and then didn't see it in the thread. It was like, oh, hey, yeah, you totally sent that. Sorry. And then immediately processed it. So, but that's a good reason to CC the chair, have the counties do that. That way, 1, we've got the record. It makes it easier for us to know who the officers are. And 2, if there is a problem, we can help respond. What county is Kevin Coriel in? It's Jackson, so that is the district. The county's Jackson, and our district is Jackson.
Oh, it's in the 9th, yeah.
It's in the 9th. Okay, I got something for you when that comes up. Any questions for Cassie? All right, thank you, Cassie. District 3, Mr. Beatty.
What?
District 3, Miss Avery.
Yes, you do 3. Christie, you do 4. We're going to switch it
Yeah,
up.
switch it up. It's a new game.
Change places. Yeah. All right, Kosciuszko County held their convention. It was very well attended, and they actually had new members join at meetings, so that's exciting. No candidates stepped forward, but there are several people considering. Yeah, people are considering. Whitley County held their convention, and 3 of 5 members stepped up to run for office, 2 for county council and 1 for county commissioner. And that was a party that only had 2 officers. They asked if someone stepped in to be secretary, so that's awesome. Allen County held their convention, and we were well attended. We had some members. We had 6 members, I think, that were county party members. And then we had some members that were also there that were state party members, or national members. And people from other counties. Cassie was there, and Elizabeth was there. We had Will and James attend, and Mark Rutherford spoke for Jeff Mauer. So it was really, really pretty awesome convention. We changed some more bylaws. Hooray! And I don't know what's going on in Wells County. How are you in contact with Wells County?
He just texted me yesterday.
So you're in text contact?
Yeah, I called him and because I actually called him to be like, hey, we need to loop you in with a conversation with Dennis Beatty. I said I did that on purpose. With Chrissy Avery. We've been on a conversation with Christy.
Do you know what their county convention?
No, no.
Me neither.
But they, I mean, they just had their special convention, so they may be trying to count that as their annual.
Did they can't do that.
Technically, yeah.
It was this year?
Yeah, it was within the third quarter, fourth quarter of last year. Then their bylaws just say that it has to be within 60 days of the state convention.
It was last year.
It's still within the 60 days. Prior to, yeah.
Prior to the state. That would be January, right?
It could still be more than that.
Yeah, there has to be at least 60 days between is what we're saying.
Right.
Oh.
At least 60 days.
Not that much.
They can hold it in December if they want. They can hold it in, March 17th of this year, if they wanted to for the next one. But we need to get some communication going because they now have 2 libertarians on the
they got
county
a second
health.
one on?
Yeah, they got a county health board seat. So like, he's wanting to run candidates.
Ooh.
So
And Matthew Kennedy announced that he will not be seeking reelection. But he's gonna participate more in the county party because he feels like that would be better use of his time. Plus, the mayor may appoint him for some position.
okay.
So I think that's positive.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to lose an elected seat, but getting an
Exactly.
appointment, he's also, honestly, I think that if he stepped in and helped with that county party, if he put that same energy
Yes.
into the focused on the county party, he could grow that county party and they'll have more candidates to run for those seats. So,
Absolutely, yes.
so it's good and bad.
Right, exactly.
Okay, now we'll do District 4, Mr. Beatty.
Not a lot to report on this one, except I know Putnam County had the treasurer resign and the secretary has kind of gone missing. So I may be calling on you for some advice on what to do about that. But that's pretty much it for what's been going on so far this last couple of weeks.
What county was that?
Putnam.
Montgomery just had their convention as well.
Yeah, Montgomery just had their convention. Somebody else did too.
Hendricks. Well, Hendricks had a meeting, they had their convention.
Any questions for Mr. Beatty? Okay, moving on, Mr. Nolan, District 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the 5th district, we've had Hamilton County, Grant County, and Boone County that have had their county conventions. Would like to thank Morgan for attending Grant County. And Grant County also elected Clayton Schultz to run for Township Trustee Board of Directors. Madison County will have their convention tomorrow. I'm still not hearing anything from Howard County, and I don't know what's going on with Tipton. He should have had his convention by now. We talked, so I'll have to follow up with him. With regard to Howard County, we voted at the last session to go ahead and switch our districts already. It's been a few days since I've been out. Has it been switched yet?
No.
Okay.
You didn't say.
It's gonna happen next week.
Yeah.
Next week.
I'm gonna pull a national and say next week. Next week, 100% next week. Count on it. Anything else, Mr. Nolan?
No, thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Nolan? Okay, hearing none. District 6, Mr. Lomax.
So I know that Hancock County had its convention, Shelby County has had its convention, Wayne and Randolph, Randolph has their convention tomorrow. And Wayne has already had theirs. I haven't heard back from any of the counties as far as their delegates yet, but I just reached out. So I'm hoping to hear that stuff back so that they can get that submitted to the secretary for their county delegates for the state convention. Hancock County, a candidate for Hancock County Council. There's already one Libertarian on the Hancock County Council, so it'll be nice to have a second one that's running as a Libertarian. That was our previous vice chair, Nathan Luke. We have elected a replacement for him, which is going to be Andrew Smith, who lives in New Palestine. So Hancock County is doing really strong. At our convention, we had 7 members, 1 potential member, and 3 state members present at the convention in a room that was about the size of the partition forward. So it was real tight. And I took home a lot of finger foods. So so that being said, like I said, I'm waiting to hear back from Henry and Rush because I know that the Morels are on top of that. So they've probably already had their conventions at least. And then I know Shelby County had theirs because I got an invite for that, but I wasn't able to make it because I was working. So
Paul and Joyce had some medical issues happen. They've since recovered. Paul's actually sick right now. They got, they're sick. I come to the state convention. They're not sure yet. But it's actually just the 2 of them there.
Oh.
Their membership's down to 2. So they could hold a convention. They also
in their dining room. Yeah.
Bartholomew County?
They are in my district right now, yes.
There are 2 members in Bartholomew. They want to hold an organizing convention. There are only 2 members in Bartholomew County. When I talked to them about it, one of them was not a member, is the one asking. His membership had actually lapsed. And he, while I'm talking to them, he renewed. And I was like, okay, cool. You guys can call the convention for whenever you want because you can waive notice because there's only 2 members. So you can do it whenever you want. Here's what you need to do. You need to get them in contact with you. They would like to be affiliated. Obviously, they're not going to be affiliated in time to be recognized at the state convention, but they can at least get it done between now and then.
Absolutely. I mean, I know the CRM training, I'll be on the one on Thursday because I'm on Thursday. So I will be on the one on Thursday. So I'll have the ability to actually get in there and search for those. I've been tooling around with it. I log in every 3 days, but getting into the county level, it's a little rough.
And for district reps, specifically for district reps, if you need some one-on-one time, you can talk to either me or Chuck. You should have my Calendly link so that you can schedule it if you want to do it with me. If you want to do it with Chuck, just email tech@lpin.org and ask him, and we can do some one-on-one time to help you figure out whatever it is you're stuck trying to do.
Fine.
Any questions for Mr. Lomax? Okay, hearing none. District 7, Mr. Williams.
Yes. So this past weekend, last Saturday, Marion County had their county convention. I was unable to attend. I was out of town. But I heard from the current vice chair that a new vice chair and chair were elected, and the delegates were selected as well. I'm still waiting to hear back from him for a list of those delegates and a list of the new officers.
Okay. If we can get that as soon as possible, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah.
I will say that I missed the convention as well. I had it in my calendar at 6 o'clock and it was at 1 o'clock. And so I quickly got dressed, got ready, I had arranged transportation at 6 o'clock, well, at 5:30. When I went to go use an Uber, there was a 45-minute wait and it was $55.
Oh my God.
My house to here, well, to the private Skeller. And I went, no. maybe next year.
That's insane.
Mr. Williams, because I've been asked multiple times by this individual, Mr. House, Robert House III is a member, has been a national member for a few years, has not been involved with the county party, is a recent transplant to Marion County, has requested to be a delegate to the state convention. And the only communication that I got back from the county party was asking if I knew anything about him after I forwarded the message, which I said, here's what I know. He is a member. He's been a member. He's been a member of the national party for years. Here's what county he was from. Here's, he recently moved to Marion County. The county he was in before was unaffiliated. He's requesting to be the delegate. No one from the county party has responded to him.
Yeah, I've been unable to get a response from them as well. It's a little frustrating.
I know that they have empty delegate spots, and I really don't like the idea of them not responding to someone who is a member, who is requesting to be a delegate. I think that even if they're just, if they tell him no, which again, I think they should have a reason for that. But even if they're telling him no, they need to communicate with him. He is a member. And he has made the official request.
I agree.
So if you can stay on top of that, I'm passing that off to you now, and we'll follow up with you next week to see if that's happened or not.
Yes. Yeah, I've already responded to, I forwarded that email to Rico, even though the vice chair should already be aware of the situation. And I just asked if there were any delegate spots open, but I haven't heard back yet.
Yeah. This has kind of been an issue, which had not been an issue in the past couple of months. Anytime I'm forwarding or messaging Marion County, I nor the person that's attached to the email as the questioner is getting a response. We've had a couple of candidates who wanted to run in Marion County, who wanted to get involved with the county party, who walked away because, 3 weeks later, the state chair can't get a response out of the county party. So you're my home county. It's the seat of the state. I'm asking Marion County, now that there's been a leadership change, to step up and do better.
Fine.
Okay, Mr. Williams?
That sounds reasonable. I'm hoping, I don't know for a fact, but I'm hoping that the new chair is more receptive.
I will say this just for transparency, he's the one that I was communicating with. That's what really troubles me, because I knew that the chair was not responsive or available, so I just bypassed him and was going to the previous vice chair. In the past 2 months, it's been crickets. And that was very troubling. And I'm saying this because had I been at the convention last week, I would have said this very loudly then. Mr. Schulteis has a question for you.
It's more of a statement. I've been doing the web hosting and email hosting for Marion County for a number of years. They do have the same issue that we'll be discussing in new business item B. So the current board of the Marion County Party needs to get in contact with me so we can either do a transition or they'll have a monetary cost associated starting in a few months.
Did you understand that, Mr. Williams?
I think so. So there's a fee that needs to be assessed to the party. Is that correct?
No, you guys use G Suite. G Suite was actually cut off back in 2012 they've kept it going, the free version of it for nonprofits. They've kept it going since 2012, and this year they decided, you know what, you freeloaders, we want you to start paying. So if you want to stay on G Suite, you have to start paying for it. And Marion County, like the LPIN, uses G Suite. So Marion County needs to make a decision on whether or not they want to switch G Suite and pay the fee, or switch to something else that's free and less user friendly, and get with Michael Schultheis about that decision.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I was at the convention and I've updated the officers.
Okay.
We're 3 times over the time if you want, but I can answer questions about the convention if anybody has any.
Does anybody have any questions about the Marion County Convention? Mr. Schultheis?
Are we purposely not announcing who the new officers are? Or?
No, it's Rico Gonzalez was elected the chair. Adam Johnson was elected the vice chair, and we elected Clay Rimbert as a at-large.
That can't be right.
Why not?
Clay doesn't live in Marion County.
No?
No.
Okay, well, I'll have to let the chair know.
Or confirm that.
Well, I just looked him up, but I didn't see what county he was in.
Was he there to accept the position, or did somebody vote him in when he?
No, he's there.
Okay, so he should know. Okay.
But we have had people who have gone to other conventions thinking that they could.
I can just do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Hirsch was trying to make Darren Kinzer temp chair of Monroe County while he was the chair of Lawrence County.
He named 2 other people who were in that position, and you correct me. No, it's not.
This is okay. We're going to go a little bit over time on this one. Does anybody object to?
He lives in
adding-
Marion County.
Hold on. Does anybody object to the maximum of 10 minutes to continue talking about crapping on Marion County?
Is there a sensitive purpose for it?
There's some other
crapping on
issues that need to be brought out or discussed potentially.
By this body or just?
By this body.
Clay is a member.
So the officers need to be changed. The permission for Adam Johnson needs to be changed since he's vice chair, because he was media contact or something.
He was an at-large.
So his permissions need to be changed to at-large.
Oh, okay, so I need to do that also for Whitley. Well, that's a new person, so they don't have any permission.
But Adam actually is in the CRC, he is a user.
So I need to change
He needs to change his permissions. Mr. Williams, did you have any other things that you'd like to add about Marion County?
No, not at this time.
Okay. I've asked again a couple of times since the 7th district is self-contained as one county congressional district, they have a potential candidate for 7th district congressional seat. We'd like to hear ahead of time the county party's thoughts and feelings before convention about that candidate.
Right. And that is another thing that I've been asking, trying to get information about. Was this brought up at convention?
I don't know, I wasn't there. He's not elected, he's not nominated at the county convention. And I had expressed to the current chair, the new chair at the time, that this candidate is going to be seeking our nomination, and instead of just walking in and the rest of the state party forcing a candidate on the 7th district, we typically ask the county ahead of time when there is somebody what they think. We asked them to discuss it at the county convention. Was Mr. Rusk at the county convention?
He was there, he did speak, he was nominated, but after the convention, he was discussed. I personally know through Facebook, he's a bit compromised.
What is he nominated for?
He's wanting to run for think, Congress.
For Congress,
Yeah,
they
who's-
would nominate.
Who's running?
Well, we approved it at the,
Okay, that's what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know either. I don't think I.
Ted Ross,
but afterwards.
Ted Russ doesn't live here.
he does that.
I know him from Facebook. He's a very confrontational kind of guy. I don't know if he'd make a great candidate, but.
I'm not making a judgment. But,
They need to get-
Well, come talk to me on break.
I will say this, if anybody ever has a question about a candidate's eligibility to run for something, specifically their address, it is a good idea to look them up in the voter registration system to confirm their information. And if you are having a difficult time doing that, you can email Chuck, and Chuck can take care of it and look it up.
That is one I can't actually do very well.
Yes. Any other questions about Marion County? Did you say time?
No, we still have time for the additional 10.
Okay. And we don't have to use it. Okay, with no additional questions or comments about Marion County. Mr. Williams, I just want to say, Marion County, I live here. I like Marion County. I like our county party. I like our team. I'm only saying these things because I want to see our county party do better and be the shining beacon for the state.
I would,
will.
Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
I would love that as well.
I think the last half year or year has shown how far Marion County has fallen. There were very few people at this year's convention.
Yeah.
We had about 30 at the last convention. There was barely 10 at this one. And it was not the normal people you would have expected. Nobody there that I was hoping to see was there.
I will say that they actually did announce the convention and send out emails in enough, pretty advanced notice, which has been atypical for Marion County. So I am disappointed to see that there were so few people there. Moving on, District A, Mr. Solomon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not going to individually go through each of our county conventions. We've had a lot of them, but I have heard from my chairs across the district that it has been well attended. Both of the Senate candidates and representatives from Mr. Moore and Mr. Horning have made it to a lot of those. The ones that we are still looking at wrapping up, Du Bois County, they should have already wrapped theirs up. They were scheduled for 9:30 this morning. Gibson County, who's kind of been out of it for a while, they have a county convention scheduled for the 20th. Martin County has been unresponsive to me. Mr. Engelbert has been in contact. She just must not like me, fair enough. But I also communicated that. So Adrian said he would work with them to try to keep them in compliance. I can't get anything back out of them, so I'm trusting Adrian on that one. And Vigo County, they're down to like 2 active members. Josh Marsh was one of them, and he's had a rough go of it. And their chairman is a correctional officer who I guess is working 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. So if I get anything back from it all, he's like, hey man, I'm sorry, I can't. So trying to figure out what to do with them.
That's unfortunate, because they were very active.
There was conflict.
Yeah.
And then plug again, the District 8 convention will be
1 second, March 20th, is Gibson County?
February 20th.
February 20th.
So that'd be what, next week? Yeah, next weekend. District convention is going to be on the 26th. I know I brought that up before at our HQ in Vincennes. I personally invite all members in attendance to come check out how we do things in the 8th. Of concern to me, Ms. Salgado mentioned that only Owen County out of the 8th has submitted delegates. The rest of my counties have had their convention, so I will yell at them to get their delegate counts to you.
Some of them may have just sent them to me, because the request that we had was to send them to the secretary and to include me, because I'm updating the list. And I think some of them just sent it to me.
Okay. Could you confirm so that I don't yell at people that don't deserve it?
I will.
Okay. I would feel bad if I did that. As far as candidates, I personally attended the Vandenberg Convention last weekend. So Mr. Henry made it down, Mr. Allen made it down for Mr. Seniak. Andrew Horning was in attendance. Kelly Curran came to speak for Jeff Moore's campaign. And Jada Burton spoke, who's seeking our nomination for Indiana House District 78. So it's a good time. I nominated one local candidate, Dave Politano, for Township Advisory Board. Mullet Dave.
Oh, okay,
Mullet Dave.
okay.
So Mullet Dave. If you've met him, if you know, you know.
That's what it is, yeah.
If you know, you know. So we have a pretty good list of candidates coming out of the 8th. Rachel Combs, Bowen County Council. I don't think he's been officially nominated yet because there was timing issues, but Derek Vogel, BC Township.
I think he's doing it at the next.
I think so.
They're reopening of the recess convention.
He's got a weird work schedule and he just wanted to make sure he wasn't screwing up deadlines. He was also reached out to by a non-member, but a current Vandenberg County Sheriff's deputy, who said, hey, I might be interested in running for Posey County Sheriff as either a Libertarian or independent. And they're having a conversation about that.
If he needs any help, look me in.
Will do.
Couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Vandenberg County. Who's the chair of Vandenberg County?
Argyle.
Oh, he did. Okay, I was gonna give up on like thank you for your service because he told me he was gonna step down.
They have been exploding. I noticed their membership has gone way.
Yeah, yeah.
Bart was going to step down, which I was really upset about. His reasoning, being Mr. Horning's campaign manager, I understand that to be a full-time position, managing Mr. Horning. So I was like, hey, man, if that's what you're gonna do, I'm doing it. But he talked it over with the people he was thinking about asking to run for chair, and they were like, look, you're the best for this. This campaign's only temporary, so if you need to dip out, Daniel Stevens, who's the vice chair, said you can step up and, you know, officiate the things that needed to be officiated in his absence. Bart's gonna stay in the chair.
Candidate for Mr. Horning, not the sheet that he filled out, but like headshots, websites, campaign contact info.
Okay. I know right now it's just in the work.
Okay, and then we just need a headshot so we can put it on the website.
Okay.
And that's true for everybody, all your candidates, we need information on them. There is a candidate form. If you don't have access to the candidate form yet, which they will.
It's not up yet, right?
Partially.
So no.
No.
Okay.
Even though the
Just
sheet
say
is
no.
up, the form is not. But in the meantime, you can email Chuck, tech@lpin.org or me, the candidate's name, their campaign contact information. This will be public facing. So don't, if they have a separate phone number, don't put their home phone number on there. A headshot, their campaign website.
Is there a deadline?
ASAP.
Okay. Because I mean, I know there are campaigns that still don't have.
If you're being nominated at the state convention, those are requirements for the state convention.
Okay.
Is a headshot. I don't think we have the website as a requirement anymore, but you do have to have a headshot.
Yeah.
And you have to have a contact phone number and email address.
I know Miss Burton did go get some professional photos done already, but we're still looking for a treasure.
Get somebody with an iPhone 11. You know, take a photo up against a brick wall. Get a young Instagram influencer from Vandenberg County to do it. They can do it. Ms. Avery.
Are you talking about just candidates that are nominated at convention
All
or all
candidates. We
candidates?
want to put all our candidates up on our website, regardless of what their office is.
Okay.
So once you have your candidate nominated at your county convention, get us their information so we can put them up there. We want to be able to help them get support, get people interested in volunteering for them. And if they have the ability to accept funds on their website, we want them to be able to raise money.
Will ultimately mark whether or not they make it onto the ballot or not.
Well, if they were nominated at the convention, they.
County convention.
Yeah, is the state party putting together the forms? You said there was going to be some sort of form so that delegates to the convention can see who all these candidates are before they go up to a vote.
Yes.
Okay, so that's not incumbent on each candidate team to actually produce their own literature.
No, they just have to.
They should.
They have to submit the form that Andy did.
So, but that's the one that was taken down, correct?
No,
So if you go to candidates on the LPIN website, that form is still there?
yes.
Because I messaged Chuck about that it wasn't working. And he told me it was because of the new thing.
Okay, so there's two different forms. There's the candidate application form, which is the form that they submit their information and what they, on different issues and things like that, and, you know, that kind of.
It's called like vet
information.
It's like a
It's a
vetting.
vetting form. Then there's the candidate information form, which is what we use to put their information into the CRM. And those are two separate things.
So
Worst case scenario, when I get home tonight, I will take a look at the website. I have the old form and I will put it back up there.
because right now, when you go to candidates where it was before, that's what it was.
Okay, I will put it back up there.
Okay. I told them to do it, and then they started telling me that there was nothing there. It's like, oh, okay.
What was that, Danny?
Maybe call it a candidate notification form instead of application, because you're notifying the state that they're a candidate. They've already been elected at their county convention. Just to distinguish it a little bit better.
Gotcha.
And Andy did that with you already, right?
The vetting form? Yes, you did. Yeah. Okay, any questions for, yes, Mr. Schultz?
I had a treasurer from one of the District 8 counties reach out to me with questions about the CFA 3 and CFA 4.
Mr. Bell?
Yes, and we did have some video recorded training several months ago. Is the state planning on releasing that at some point?
They have all
He's received it.
They've all received, all the treasurers have received it, and the county chairs have received the link to that video. It is a private link because we don't want to share it publicly, but it's on our YouTube page, but they've all received it.
Were his questions covered in that video?
I don't remember. Seems like it's.
Because I distributed that to all them, and I know Mr. McMahon has also distributed, so they've all been double tapped.
Yeah, but he had a couple of questions. First time filling out the form.
Well, I know he had a question that it was requesting a FER and their original CFA 3 didn't have a file number on it. So he's like, what do I do?
That information for them,
So-
but they're
so what he
supposed to
had
use
was-
the state
What
website.
he used was he had the CFA 3 that they filled out. He didn't have the file stamped from the state.
Okay.
And I saw that in the photo, because he sent me a photo and said, hey, what was supposed to do?
Who was this?
Charles Bickle.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, see. But yeah.
Go to Charlie for reach number.
Yeah. You know,
Most of them just sit around and like, oh,
I
come on,
did
tell
see
me.
that somebody else in our affiliate group, county affiliate group, was logging into the state, and they thought that they couldn't add contributions, and then I think it was Cassie said, hey, did you click on this button? And then they were like, oh, I'm an idiot. You know,
I
it's
think
first time
they
filing.
went to the form and wanted to fill it out on the actual form.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's much easier than that.
Yeah. If you're filing with the state, it's done electronically through the state portal. If you're filing with your county, it's how they may want you to do it braille. You know, they can require whatever they want. Any other questions or comments for the 8th district? Okay, hearing
If you're,
none.
if you're gonna come to the convention, dress warm. I'm not sure if our slumlord that owns our building is gonna fix the heater, but
Nice.
it's Bart. Bart's the
It's Bart's the
slumlord.
slumlord.
We had 5 and it didn't help.
Is that the Knox County headquarters?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was cold.
It's cold shit.
Mr. Hirsch.
Okay.
9th district.
All right, several counties have had their county conventions over the last month, starting with Morgan County. So the last one for the 9th district, I went up, spoke, and Johnson County had theirs. Clark and Floyd, we had ours together. Jennifer Commissar Kern is now the chair of Floyd County. She's in the process of getting a EIN and a bank account for Floyd County, which they never had before.
It's already done.
Does she have webs or city access?
Yes, she does.
Good. All right. Anyway, at the joint convention, both William Henry and JC came down and spoke. And Eric Allen spoke on behalf of Jeff Marr. Then the next week, Morris County had their district convention. I went up, it was on January 19th. I went up there, great time. Now, Monroe County had their organizer convention on January 31st. I was unable to make it and couldn't get out of work in time.
I went.
That's right, yeah, you were there. See, Darren Kennedy was there, Tanya was there. I expect Morris County and Monroe to do things together.
Darren, was it there?
He was not there.
He was not there.
Oh, he said he's going, he did.
Yeah, I think he said he was gonna go, but it ended up just
Okay.
being Tanya.
Oh, well, anyway, so I'm really glad to see that happen. Jason Samansky, in Clark County, wants to run, he said he wanted to run for county clerk in Clark County. It was a libertarian, but he didn't show up at the convention, so we'll see if that happens. Anyway, most of these counties that had their conventions did it on recess, which means they could, at their future meetings, they could like bring it back up and, run candidates.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to do. Also, Washington County had their county convention last month, and they're going to do their monthly meetings on the third Thursday of the month now instead of the second Thursday. That's a change.
Yeah.
It's possible David Norton may run for town council as a Democrat.
Yeah.
Maybe. He's thinking about it.
It's a mess.
He hasn't decided.
Okay.
Well, it's never like it wasn't.
I mean, well, they're gonna challenge him.
Yeah.
And
He hasn't voted in the primary and he's been a party member for years.
Is it a red or blue district?
it's solid Republican.
Yeah, it's solid red. Like, I don't even know why any Democrats bothered with that.
But anyway, also, it just been made official now. Former congressional candidate Eric Johnsburg is running for Congress, U.S. Congress in the primary as a Republican. And him and Tanya kind of had a nasty phone call now there, which
Totally.
yeah. I mean, the way I look at that is, I know Republicans like the back of my hand. Mike Sod was running that damn primary. He was congressman before Todd Young. His voting record was worse than Todd Young's.
Yeah.
So what that means is the Republican voters, they love big government, they'll probably vote for him.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
They're gonna have the Republican for the 9th district, the Republican primary is gonna be a clown car. Every Republican is gonna run for it. Senator Hochin just resigned. In the middle of the session, she resigned so that she could run for Congress. And I'm like, that makes no, like, why did you resign? Like, yeah, so she resigned, seat in the state Senate so that she could run in the congressional primary. But Sodwell running, there's every Republican is coming out of the woodwork to run because it's an open seat since Tennessee Trey has decided not to seek re-election.
Yes.
I know, he says he's gonna stay home with his kids, so I guess his house is going up for sale here in Indiana, he's moving back to Tennessee.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I wish Eric luck. I mean,
Yeah.
Eric's not going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
We'll run for governor.
Yeah, I think he's planning on moving into the governor's mansion.
Eric has been a long time party member. He's been a friend of the party. He's done a lot for the party. I don't particularly want to badmouth him, but with that being said,
Well, Tanya's done enough there.
yeah, you're running on the other side. You're not going to get our help and support. We're going to be supporting our nominee,
Yes.
whoever she may be.
Well, Tanya's only one seat.
I know, but technically we can't say that until after the nomination.
And isn't it just-
Tanya would have preferred Eric like running against her at the convention. So Tanya, be careful what you wish for. If you knew that, Eric would be. A lot of people don't. She
I
did
don't
not.
know. I think competition is great, and I don't think anybody in this party can say that one person is going to get the nomination over another.
Well, yeah,
because
true.
because people are willing.
And then the state office, we don't endorse
Yes,
it.
you did.
She did, very much so.
She set a national record.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
Yes.
and again, and I tell her this
And I
every
look forward to
time,
supporting
she
her.
needs to say that more often. She
Yeah,
needs to tell
she's not.
people that. She doesn't talk that.
She wants to speak at the national convention, which of course it.
Yeah, she got
To
a high
speak to
percentage of.
Todd.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. He's not even. Yeah, I mean, to speak to your competition point,
What is that?
I thought the Senate race was open and closed, when this first started, and, I didn't see James at the Vandenberg County Convention. He was up in Allen County. Where you guys? But Will Henry was the best I've ever seen him. I've seen James's growth. It is truly as iron sharpens iron kind of situation. And I am.
For the most part, they have brought out the best in each other and challenged each other to grow. And that was what I wanted to see when I said that I would help both of them equally and provide them as much support as I can, as long as they understand I'm doing it for both of them. And as long as they campaign positively. So I'm very happy to see.
Extremely
the vast majority of what they've done. Recognize Mr. Outman.
Yeah, I just want to just side note for historically, with Eric running. Of course, most of you may or may not know that Andy at one point ran for Congress as a Republican.
A couple times, actually.
Yeah,
Didn't he?
actually had once.
He got no support.
After having.
Yeah, I think the only member Congress.
After having been a libertarian, and our position was basically as long as he didn't badmouth the party,
Yeah.
okay, he was welcome back
Welcome back.
when he's done.
Wait, so you didn't badmouth anybody as a Republican?
Those are the old days. Those are the old days. But
Sounds like it's over here now. We can't get him not to do that.
as long as-
We're off subject.
Yeah.
Order of the day.
One more thing.
Go ahead, Mr.
I need to get back to my report here.
Sorry.
Ronald Holford from Jefferson County, Indiana, which is massive. He's setting up a organized commission and he has people involved. He had scheduled for March 6th, but he wants to do it first. I don't think it will happen on March 6th.
Yeah, because he oddly enough, because he was part of the original county development push, he used the scheduling app to do it. He doesn't have to do that. But, so I think he scheduled a day that was available on that calendar, which somehow was March 6th.
Which that's the Sunday of our convention.
Right, so we're not gonna, like, none of us are gonna be available to help him or anything, and so, we need to talk with him and figure out, so I think he's scheduled something to do a one-on-one with me next week, I think he
All right,
did.
good. All right.
So if he.
I'll get with him.
You know, if he didn't, ask him to do that.
Okay.
So that we can kind of work that out.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Lundy, we're gonna.
It's
move
about
on.
District 9.
Okay. Mr.
I
Lundy.
just wanted to remind
Oh, go
Greg
ahead.
that Kristen Alexander also officially got the nomination. I know she's been running for a year. And you can check out her website or donate at kristencares.org.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Okay, so that concludes the district reports. The next agenda item is a 10-minute break. So let's go ahead and take our 10-minute recess.
Recording and streaming live
We're streaming live.
throughout the room.
Yes. However, I'm gonna mute the feed during the break. For everybody that is in the room, Chuck, are you here? Oh, that's okay.
Can you like Cassie back in?
Yeah, and Chuck. So what I was getting ready to say was all the people who are present on the SCC just got their old membership card. You guys are actually going to get new membership cards too, but they're not going to come in these. They're going to come in regular envelopes. Because once you get your PIN, you just get your card. Chuck, Michelle, Elizabeth, Kent, Mr. Nolan, Will Henry, because I thought he would be here, and Alyssa, your guys' pins and membership cards are right here. I'm not going to mail them to you. I just, it costs us $3.80 to ship these. So I'll give them to you guys at the convention, if that's okay. Does anybody object to getting theirs at convention? Okay, cool. That's the way it's going to happen. All right.
What was that?
The membership kits, I had them here for all of the SCC members, but you weren't here. So we'll give you yours at convention.
I don't see him anymore.
Membership kits.
With your membership card and your lapel pin.
So if somebody changed his address, Jordy's not.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I guess I won't see him.
I guess.
Okay, so you'll get it at convention.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna come back to order. Are we all here? Yep, everybody's here. Okay. We're back. It's 12, time is 12:32. Alyssa, are you with us? Yes, you are. Cool. 2022 convention. I'm gonna hand this off to Lucy and then I'll cut her off.
Okay, it'll take me 30 minutes. Kevin and I are negotiating with Pinheads to have our Friday night there. And I don't know if she's actually called you back or anything yet. They've given us a quote in the neighborhood of $1,800, which seems pretty expensive. With that, they're providing pizza and salad and audio in a room and 4 lanes for 2 hours, but we get the room for 4 hours. And if anybody that wants to bowl, they put their shoes and stuff. So it seems like a little bit much, but given the fact that it's right up the road, I'm definitely in favor of it. The backup plan is to go to a place that I used to have a membership over 124th in Illinois and kind of like cater it ourselves and have a room ourselves. Wouldn't be nearly as exciting. So that's the update on Friday night.
Yes. On Friday night, so we stand.
Yeah.
We have had a hell of a time finding a place for Friday night.
Yes.
Even our host hotel, they wanted to add an additional 30 room guarantee just to give us the space for Friday night.
Yeah, and it would have been like $1,000 or something.
Yeah, it's $119 per room plus tax per night, and we would get an additional 30 on top of our already room block. Every place has kind of been like this. It's been ridiculously expensive to hold an event on a Friday night. So I'm talking to the Pinheads, that's the name of the business, to try to negotiate that down a little bit less. I actually met the owner at a small business function a few months ago. And I'm reminding her that she told me that she understood how expensive things were and she would work with us on getting prices lowered. So I'm reminding her of that.
Exactly.
But this is a thing. It's becoming increasingly expensive to do a Friday night thing.
So none of Friday night's activities are going to be taking place at the Hyatt?
No, because they wanted an additional 30 rooms.
So for everything that is on the convention schedule for Friday is going to be at whatever location that we choose?
Yes, yeah, which the presidential, US Senate debate, and then the socializer. We do need to talk to Mr. Pollan to make sure that he will be able to live stream Friday nights, the Senate debate for our candidates at whatever venue we're at.
Is it correct that 7 o'clock is the first event?
For now.
It won't be earlier than that?
No.
Okay.
So as long as we're to try to get a sponsor to split that cost.
Because they're gonna want to have an event and we want to focus on our 2 Senate candidates as part of that.
They can use the lanes, we can do our thing.
They want to do a panel.
Gotcha.
So that wasn't gonna work out this year.
So for people that are looking at traveling far distances,
It won't start till 7.
okay, so as long as we are at whatever the location is by 7 p.m.
Yeah.
We will not be missing.
The after party will be in my hotel room,
Okay, cool.
which I just booked.
Bring the bourbon.
It's, oh, no.
Morgan County always says for.
As long as it's not scheduled after Monday
Okay,
time.
stay on topic so we can get through this.
Yep, exactly. Which is a good reminder, if you haven't gotten your hotel room, I think today was the cutoff for.
Today is the cutoff
Today's
to
the
book your
cutoff.
hotel room.
How are we doing on hotel room?
I won't know until Monday.
Next week for sure.
Wait.
How many did we need? Because I'm pretty sure we're there.
So the last notice that I got, because I didn't get the one Friday. The one I got was the previous Friday, and we only needed like 6 more rooms or 7 more rooms booked, and so I feel like there were a couple of people that had actually already told me that they booked on Monday. So we're there.
I booked Tuesday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you guys don't mind going ahead and booking if you're gonna book.
It's
and-
still open right now. Today's the cutoff. So if you haven't booked your hotel room, do it right now.
But if people try to book after that, they can't get the rate.
Correct. And there's no guarantee that there'll be a space. It is March Madness weekend.
So much for trying to get 30 extra rooms, what the hell?
I know, right? Like, I was like,
Yeah.
you're gonna book, you're gonna fill up. Like, what's your point? Like, why are you doing this? Like, can't you just pay $1,000? Like,
Yeah,
and they were like, no.
yeah, they were really, that was like the new management was like, this is the law. And I was shocked at how inflexible they were.
Completely. Yeah. And it's, it is not just them, it is industry wide. Everyone is doing this now. And it's ridiculous.
Well, they're probably all the rooms that went empty for almost.
Yeah, well, but they're gonna fill up. It's March Madness.
I was gonna say March Madness, I'm sure it's driving a lot. If it was, nothing's going on this weekend, it'd be very different.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. So request from me to all of you is on your social media, in your county sites, please remind everybody, today's the cutoff, they gotta get in there. And if they haven't registered for the convention yet, obviously we want their money. So please remind them to get on the convention. Evan and I went and toured Foreign Credit Union and made some final choices. So that's where the tent comes in. If you want to speak about the tent.
They're gonna be awesome. That's all I'm gonna say for now. You'll see them when they're there.
Yep, you will see them when you're there.
And we're gonna have one display that you'll walk through when you come in.
Yeah.
But then the district rep will be responsible for taking the tent with them when they leave.
Which tent's gonna be set up?
7.
Okay.
So the printing process went well?
Yes.
Chicken cricket and the wine.
I haven't done all of them yet.
I have a question about the registrations. Is there a way to check the registration status online? I've had a couple of members ask me if they show registered or not.
Send an email to tech@lpin.org.
Is it tech or is it IT?
Or you can just ask me after the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both work.
After you register, though, they should have gotten an email confirming the registration.
Right,
If they didn't get one, it might be in their spam folder, it might be in their promotion folder.
that's what I'm thinking of. Like if there was a way that I could check, so then I also know who I need
You
to reach out
can,
to.
for your CRM access, you can actually look
Okay,
and check.
so
There you
Friday,
go.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it.
But before that, because you don't want to make them wait a week.
right,
Go
absolutely.
ahead and email.
I'll go ahead. I'll just ask Chuck when we're done. That's fine.
Okay, we are actively looking for someone that can do the silent auction this year. I wish that it not be me, but I'll step in and do it if nobody else can. It's not working out for Christy to do it this year or for Tanya. She's just too darn busy. So if you know somebody that enjoys those kind of fundraising events and doesn't mind, manning the table and all that kind of thing. Secondarily, for the silent auction fundraiser, is there anybody in your districts like Rhonda Green in Washington who does, those really nice candles? Is there anybody that you know of that's an artist or has some sort of service that can be delivered, something that they're willing to donate to the silent auction?
Mr. Hirsch, I
Yes.
believe in Morgan County, which is still in your district for now, that there is a woman by the name of Patty Galt who does some amazing work. And she did donate to the state party last year in a auction. would you be willing to talk to the Morgan County Chair about seeing if Patty could donate?
I'll check with Patty right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Ray, I'm appointing you the head of the silent auction management team. You are the director. Congratulations on your new title. Basically, all you'll do is all of the stuff will be gathered at the convention site. We'll unload it to you. You'll set up the tables, man the tables, and then chase people down for payment at the end of the day. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
And I will also be demanding silence the whole time.
Yes. No talking during the auction. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so bylaws, we've not had any bylaws change. It has the.
That's on the committee.
Oh, never mind.
It's
Okay.
later.
Okay, so what ties into the convention then is crowd work. Are we going to need crowd cheer?
Yes.
And are you arranging that?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I'm not able to text on this. Tech, are you sure it's not IT? Okay.
No, that's for IT stuff or tech stuff.
I have not said IT.
Since the last time I was at a meeting, I know that's why.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
And have you been in
Yes, that's confirmed.
That is confirmed, okay.
Brian Nichols will be doing 4 one-hour training sessions on messaging in the Saturday morning. That was just confirmed. What is today? Saturday? Thursday.
He just came in, like, stayed again, he's like a real person.
He came from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
He's on the Wall Network. He's got his own podcast. Brian.
Oh, we are libertarians.
Yeah.
He moved to Newcastle.
Yeah. He
Newcastle.
moved to Newcastle to
Look,
be with the boss hog.
Every
of Liberty
libertarian has
crowd.
a podcast now. You can't just shorthand those out.
You've moved to Newcastle.
Sorry.
Yeah, Brian Nichols moved from Philly. to
Right,
Newcastle.
oh, well, I mean, that's pretty close, it's like a suburb of Philly.
It's gonna be a really good couple of training sessions. I had a conversation with them about kind of the focus being not how to talk to libertarians, but how to talk to people at the door.
Yes.
Kind of the idea of not selling liberty, but how to have a conversation like a normal human being, like a real little boy.
I don't need you to double cake. I just need you to pull the lever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Joe Jorgensen will be doing the keynote.
Yep.
The Sunday breakfast will feature whoever our U.S. Senate nominee is. It's a good opportunity for our 94 Society members to pepper our candidate, our nominee, with questions, advice, support, eggs. And it will be at the same location as last year.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Same company too?
Same company.
And more space.
The bigger room.
And more banking leave. Remember,
Yeah,
one
it's-
minute.
it actually was more expensive, just because we did bump the amount from 60 to 80, because we were literally standing room only at 60. So we bumped that up to 80, but then there's also the Biden tax.
Oh, of course.
On top
Yes,
of that.
yes.
So it was more expensive than last year.
Do we know yet if any of the events are gonna be faced next quarter?
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're not this year.
Not currently.
Not yet.
With Fishers, it's day to day.
I mean, you said the word like, so you build it into existence.
Yeah. Which is why I'm still. Don't know if this is really up for vote, but I forgot to ask you, media credentials. I was gonna extend those to Spangle, who's doing our Tennessee.
Have you got any level of confirmation from him recently?
Yeah, I talked to him like 4 days ago.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
Well,
I told him.
If he shows
The
up,
old ones,
I 100%
make
am.
him wear them.
Because I kept all of his old credentials that he requested and then never showed up.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we definitely got this.
No,
I told him, yeah.
I've
Hey,
already.
did you let him know he's a Mises Caucus sponsor since we gave them his table?
That's right. I should do that.
I'm sure he'd be thrilled.
We're not gonna do a media table like we did last year because no one used it. So instead, we are issuing the media credentials. We've sent to our good contacts like Abdul.
So we're gonna have more than one media this time?
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Abdul, Rob Kendall, a couple, somebody from the IVJ, somebody from the Indianapolis Star, Brandon Smith, who does the, it's one of the Sunday political shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Indiana Review.
He's
I
from
can't remember,
Channel
it's
20.
In Review,
Yeah, I
In
think it's In Review.
Focus, and
Something.
Politics Today, and they've got a whole bunch of them, and they're all stupid.
Liz is trying to get in the Zoom.
Oh.
Did you already send out those invitations?
Okay, Alyssa, please note that Elizabeth Coquillard is now in the meeting, so she, Cassie is no longer her proxy vote, but Cassie can still stay in the meeting, of course.
You can see her.
Yeah, I can see her.
Oh, she got a camera on? Okay. You were in the, Evan's 3-plate breakfast was in the way.
Oh.
That's with the girl?
Huh?
That's with the.
That's with the girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really need to go back on cue.
Is that Mike's all the
So what were you saying?
Did you already send out the media invites?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have to do
That's what
that.
we did.
I did promise both Chris, I told Chris he's only allowed to come if he brings his beautiful wife.
Okay.
And I did offer him both dinners.
If he shows up and decides to.
If he doesn't
MC,
show up, I'm gonna drag his ass off.
then fine. But I'm telling you right now, I am prepared to MC
All right.
because I don't think he's gonna be there.
Shots fired.
It's, I mean, I have just as much faith that he'll show up as I do Jared attending an SCC meeting. And hey, they've got the same ratio. 0.
So hold on, Span's gonna MC what?
He's gonna MC the awards day.
Oh, that would be great. I hope he does show up, but
I do too. I mean,
I'm not gonna put
legitimately,
folding money on it.
I would really like for him to do it, but like, I'm not taking odds.
Well, that's all I've got. I probably forgot. to
Should we make that a fundraiser?
Is Chris Spangle gonna show up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yeah. That's actually a great idea.
I got some cash.
Because you can make this part of his introduction.
We need to
Put some
like.
next to you.
Some things that I'd like to talk about, about the convention. We're doing up some awards this year that are, really nice. We're not just doing certificates, we're doing up some nice things. You obviously won't know who wins the award until the awards dinner, but if one of the awards nominees is in your district, it would be a good idea to recommend them to attend.
So on ahead of time, who's receiving awards?
We don't because they're voted on at convention. There's only 2 awards that are known ahead of time. And by this, well, only one award is known by this body, and don't say it out loud who it is, but County Affiliate of the Year was already decided by the board. And is Steve Dosbach Chairman's Award, but that's decided by me. It doesn't get announced until the awards day. But
So how can we ensure
I
that people are
guarantee
there
he's
if we
gonna
don't
be-
know who the people are
if they're nominated for the award,
at convention?
no, they're nominated before the convention.
Oh, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, so they're nominated ahead of time. Let them know that they've been nominated, they should seriously consider attending. I mean, like, if it's a possibility they could win the award, like, if Danny Lundy gets nominated for anything, there's no point because we're not voting for Danny Lundy anymore.
I'd already put it on the books.
So,
Whoa.
because we're doing some nice things, and it's not just the paper, gonna be the paper thing anymore, or at least not now. And it'd be really nice if they received their award on stage and had a nice photo of them getting something really nice. That makes sense? We do need more auction items. That would be great. Like Lucy said, anything is better than nothing. And we've got a lot of talented people. We've got a lot of people in our organization that own businesses, even if it's just a gift card. Like if you have a car wash and you want to give a $25 gift card, throw it in. Like, you know, that works. Somebody's gonna want it, you know, probably somebody who lives in the area who's attending the convention. So yeah, are there any questions about convention?
I have one.
Yes.
Is the county instituting any regulations on us like last year that we need to be aware of in terms of masking and distancing or number of people or anything?
Mr. Lomax asked that question already, and the answer was no.
Sorry, I can't very well.
At this time,
You know,
Fishers can implement anything because the Fishers city has their own, they're the only city in the state that has their own health department. So it is subject to change, and we are under those terms and conditions that we must abide by health department requirements. But as of right now, they have a sign on their front door that says, no masks required for vaccinated persons, but there's no like show your status or anything like that. We're not being asked to do that. We're not being even asked to tell people that, like nothing. So just copy.
We're not being asked to monitor it or anything?
Nope, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, moving on to the next topic, the member report. We are back up as a state party.
Are we skipping 2022 elections?
No, because they both say 2022. So when I just looked down, I just glanced, I missed that. Okay, 2022 elections. Starting off with, there is a question that I have. Our policy had previously been to provide delegate information to candidates prior to the convention. Our delegate listing is February 20th is the deadline. I just want to confirm with the body that we are changing that policy, that we will provide delegate information to anyone who is seeking our nomination, that they get the delegate contact information, which is name, address, and phone.
So you're saying we're not keeping that out?
We don't do it until the delegate list is complete. But our policy in the past has been to provide that to anyone seeking our nomination. That they get it prior to the convention. That way they can contact people and say, hey, I'd like your support. They can mail the last letter beforehand. But we don't have we're kind of required to submit it until February 20th. So it's not considered a complete list until then. And our policy had been in the past that we did not send it until it was like 2 days after that county deadline.
So what's the request to change?
I'm asking if I'm not stating a change. I'm giving the opportunity for discussion as to whether or not we want to keep it that policy or change it, which is also something that we've done in the past, which is discuss whether or not we want to keep it or not.
And not send delegate information at all, or?
Right.
Is anybody requesting it?
Yes. And my response to them has been that we don't give that information out until the council for submission.
Seems like a reasonable deadline.
Is there anybody that thinks that our current crop of declared candidates to seek nomination at the state convention shouldn't get what is actually a public list? But we actually ultimately will have to make that information available upon request. Is there anybody that would object to candidates in February 22nd?
And it's information that will already be public anyway.
There is one other question.
Evan?
Yes.
Can I ask you to speak up a little bit? Your voice is projecting away from the microphone. And when you get low in your voice, I can't hear you.
It's the first time I've ever had somebody say my voice got low. Did you hear the topic though?
No, I did not.
It was our standard policy has been when candidates seek our nomination, receive the delegate information 2 days after the deadline for counties to file, just making sure that we wanted to continue that policy.
Thank you.
The other question that was asked by somebody who is seeking a position on the national party board. And the person has requested our delegation information after our state convention. That is not something that we've ever done before. However, national provides that information to the candidates as well. It would just be handy for them to have it earlier because they are from our state. I don't see any problem with it. I think it's perfectly acceptable to do that, unless somebody has an objection to it. And like I said, it's not been something we've ever done before that I'm aware of. And it would be provided to them by national. National also does the same name, address, phone number, not email. So unless anybody objects, I'll consider that the same policy that a couple of days after the state convention, submitting that list to them and any other national, to be fair, if another candidate seeking a national office requested it, we would have to supply it. Is there any objection to that? No? Okay, cool. Policy's the same. Go ahead, sir. Did you drop something?
It rolled like a long way.
Little pop bar roll.
Yeah.
Another question is about CRM access. What level of access do we want to give candidates after they've been nominated? Do we want to supply them with basic information? Do we want to actually give them access to the CRM like a district rep? I'm working with national to be able to do. Well, the reason why I'm asking this is because right now I'm having these discussions with national. That's why we had the really long meeting yesterday and why we're going to have the really long meeting next week, is because we're tailor making whatever we're going to do. And we're doing that now. So if we want to restrict access to certain things, if we want to give them the ability to send an email through our mass mail system and using their banner, we can do that. If we don't want them to be able to do that, we can turn off email access. If we basically just want it to be a place where they can go to see who the members are in their county or who has supported the state party in their county or in their district, broken down by county, we can do that. We can give them as much access or as little access as we want.
Can we restrict based on anything other than county or congressional district? If you're running for a state house district that is a wonky box that does not comport to anything, we can give them just access to info in there.
In theory.
So no.
But we don't have accurate SOS data. And some of our members are not in SOS data because they're not registered to government.
Why do you want to get a hold of him?
Because they'll still give you money.
They still donate, they still volunteer, they're still members of the party.
Would we charge them for this?
That is an entirely different question. My preference, my position would be not to charge a candidate for access to our system with one exception. If we were to grant them email access,
That's what I was
I would want to charge them for that.
I would think that maybe we would have two levels. One where you can get in and run reports, find out who your people are, pull a list and email them on your own, or but if you want to use our system.
They can't pull a list.
Oh, they can't.
We do not allow exports out of our system.
Oh, they can screenshot.
Yeah.
Type it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think.
In fact, we actually are working on a user level agreement with National. That's another one of the things that would actually allow us to be able to do that, to be able to give candidates exports.
Yeah.
If we trust them to be our nominee, we should be able to trust them with an export of our data.
Right.
That's been, I know a lot of you hear me say, no, don't do this. You can't do this. But at the same time, I'm behind the scenes making your same arguments to National. But we have a policy and it's my position to enforce that policy or stand by it while advocating strongly for its change. That has been receptive. It's funny, it's not been receptive when it's been about county leaders, but it is when it's been about candidates. I know.
Yeah, I think if we have two levels, one that's free and one that's paid, I think that would be a good thing to do.
Okay. I'd like to open this up for discussion.
I have a codicil I'd like to throw out there. One of the thing I gave a great deal to the rainwater campaign, and one of the codicils that I put forward was that all their information or contact information is given to us so that they don't hoard it, and it's a mutual trade. We give them our contacts, and as they work their stuff and get contacts, that they pass those contacts on to us.
They would actually be able to import those contacts, add them into the CRM, as well as be able to log their own contributions into the system. So we would actually know who their donors are, what they gave. This would all be in the system, and it would be attributed to them, not us. We have those separation tiers.
They could also manage their and that would be valuable information for us as well.
Yes, I mean, that's the whole thing. That's why I asked for local contributions to be created in city and to be turned on for county parties. So that way, when Danny Lundy gets murdered by a deranged council member, the next county chair doesn't have to start over from scratch. They know who's been, even if the donations aren't coming through our system, it's being held in the system. We know who they are, and we can look and see what is their interaction been, what things have they interacted with, what tasks did they do. We have all of this useful data on individual people.
I think that's one thing that really says we need to give them access, is to get this information from them. And the only reason I would have a different level for email, because now we're incurring costs. And, they should bear some of that, but, the free access to put in your volunteers and all that, that's valuable information. You'll be able to pull reports. We worked on the rainwater campaign in this county, because I want to hit them up for something that I want to do. And I think that could be very valuable.
I'm going to, if no other member of the board wants to speak, I'm going to ask to recognize Mr. Lundy for a minute, because Mr. Lundy is from a moderately successful county party, is also one of our statewide users of the CRM. He's part of our tech team. So I'd kind of like to get his input. He also has a candidate that he's very active with in Morgan County. I'd like to get his input on that.
Charles is right on the money. I mean, the more we can get people invested in the CRM and the more functionality we can get built into that CRM, the better it's going to be for the party as a whole. It helps us build our skills list that I'm always talking about. Like, hey, I need a treasurer. And I've had several people call me and say, hey, we need a treasurer. We need a bigger bench on people who can be a treasurer, both national, state, county, all those things. And to be able to go into the CRM, who's been a treasurer for a campaign before, let me call them, is huge. People who are, know how to door knock. We're going to talk here in a little bit about a get off the boat event and training people to do that. It'd be good to know who had that training, who's done it before, so you know who to call on for those skills. So building out that skills list in the CRM is huge in helping us grow. So the next time we have lightning hit a bottle like rainwater, we know exactly who our people are, where they are, what their skills are, what they're good at, so that we can mobilize quickly behind great candidates.
And the thing is like, everything that you just said is trackable in the CRM right now, but the counties, as active as they've been, let me tell you something, people who've been watching the party for years are super impressed with how active our counties have been. That is a fraction of what candidates do, what campaigns do. Most of the activity is going to come from candidates and campaigns. So if we can capitalize on that and get it organized and managed within our system, that data is there. He's right. If rainwater calls up and says, hey, I'm on fire, the chair can push the button and mobilize people because we have it in the system. Mr. Sullivan.
Just to be clear, city does have functionality specifically for candidates, right?
Yes.
And I mean, we're already paying a pretty substantial amount of money as a party to use it. Let's use as much functionality of it as we can. To Chuck's point about whether or not that should be free access to candidates, I think that's probably the reasonable point to debate this. But as far as giving candidates access, it's there for them. Like, what the hell else are we doing?
So it doesn't cost the party any additional money to add additional users?
No.
But if they send emails and such, that's
Send
what it costs.
emails, it might, and even that cost is probably going to be minimal for the campaign.
It's 10 cents per thousand with no cap, which is the nice system that we have right now, is we were paying more than that and we had a cap. So if somebody, if every county, if every district send an email in one day to every contact in their district, we would not be able to send any more emails the rest of the month under the old system. The new system, y'all can send an email every single day. It's going to cost us 10 cents per thousand. And when I start seeing like the 8th district is, costing us $100 a month, we're going to be like, hey, in your 8th district.
Although I think our membership numbers are making up for that, and then some, to be clear.
So I think what I'm hearing is authorizing candidate access, but if we can separate the two, have a free access with no email and a paid access where they're paying for the privilege to be able to send emails through our system.
Of course, I think we would have to have a tier with, if you're a statewide candidate, you're gonna have to pay more than if you're some small.
I think it would be a user, it would be a fee or a usage fee. I wouldn't say like charging $60 a month, because you're not gonna send $60 worth of emails at 10 cents per thousand.
Can we track how many
So-
emails?
Yes.
So it'll be a billable thing.
Yeah.
You tell them what the rate is and then.
And I think it should be exactly what we pay. Let's not profit off of it. Let's
Sure,
do
no.
10 cents per thousand. Just like that's what we pay, right?
So it'd be paid after.
So it's like a buck per 10,000
Yeah.
emails.
I agree with that.
Oh, no.
That works better.
The rules we're seeing.
Right.
Any objection to extending for another 5 minutes? Can't hear none. Mr. Schultz, it's.
I have a question.
Hold on
Are
one
we-
second. Hold on one second, Mr. Schultz.
I'd have to verify all that.
Can you verify?
It's been minimal cost versus
$10
the $20 flat fee we used to.
Mr. Nolan.
Are we discussing to a motion, or you were just wanting to try and get a consensus? You're going to make a decision, or should we have a motion on the floor for this discussion?
There's no need for a motion to the discussion, but we are having the discussion to build the motion.
Okay.
Will be a motion on the floor, but not yet.
I don't think it matters what the rate is, because we're just.
Are you okay, Mr. Nolan?
I'd like to get us to a motion somewhere so we can discuss it. We can change the motion or whatever, but
What we're working on, so let's just keep working on that then.
Well,
I get Mr. Nolan's point here is that we don't have a solid, this is the factual basis of what we are discussing. And I think getting us to something concrete, such as a motion to allow candidate access to city on the condition that
I needed to hear that first, though. I needed to have that discussion with you guys, because me just handing it down and saying, here's the motion,
so
would take even longer.
would it be in order for me to make that motion, Mr. Chair?
Absolutely it would.
So
I would caution you to wait until Mr. Schulteis.
I don't think the exact number needs to be in the motion. It could just be one-for-one reimbursement.
That's fine.
So I would move to
Hold on
allow,
1 second. Alyssa, are you ready to hear this motion?
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Let me get set up.
I'm glad, Alyssa, that you have not yet been attacked by killer robots. Glad to see you still safe.
has anyone done the work to confirm that she herself is not a robot?
All right, whenever you guys are ready. You'll have to speak clearly though.
I would like to move that the LPIN extend access to city CRM to nominated candidates of the LPIN on the condition that those candidate committees reimburse any costs associated with city usership. Technically precise enough.
I like it.
Pretty good. Would you mind putting that in the chat just so I get the wording correct? Because there's too much background noise and I don't want to waste everybody's time. So I have the gist of it though. But yeah, please type it into the chat for me.
I'm gonna make a stylization. Adding time, camp reimbursement.
Timely, yes.
You want to be more precise than that?
Be let in, so I
The wording that I have is, Mr. Solomon moves that the LPIN extend CRM access to nominated candidates of the LPIN on the condition that the candidates committee timely reimburse to the LPIN for CRM usage.
I would move timely. That was a weird place in the sense to put it. Look at it.
Candidates committee timely reimburse.
Reimburse in a timely manner to the LPIN.
Reimburse.
Grammatically correct.
You're not gonna be able to read this.
I barely did. It was a miracle.
You'd be surprised.
It'll be readable next week for sure.
I second.
Candidate committee reimburse in a timely manner to the LPIN any costs.
Or reimburse the LPIN in a timely manner for any costs.
That the LPIN extend CRM access to nominated candidates of the LPIN on the condition that the candidates committee reimburse in a timely manner to the LPIN any incurred cost associated with CRM usage. So that should. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair, Ms. Britton. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Okay. Ms. Salgado, are you ready to take a roll call vote?
Give me 1 second to set that up. I think I have the wording, but then I don't know, I hit a button and then my screen went wacky. So Jay Solomon moved to extend CRM access to the candidates of the LPIN as long as the candidates committee reimburse in a timely manner any incurred costs associated with, I don't know, I missed the end.
The CRM usage.
CRM usage. Okay.
Actually,
But was the rest of that correct or did I miss something?
no, you're good.
Yeah, that's good.
We're not expending any funds here. This technically doesn't need to be a roll call vote unless you want it to be a roll call vote. Is there any objection to a voice vote? It only takes one objection to cancel the voice vote.
Are we? I understand that there's not a direct cost. However, if some candidate comes out of the gate super strong, signs up for it, sends a few emails, and then falls off the face of the earth, and we can't, and we have to fight for reimbursement, that is a cost. I'm not predicting that that happens, you know, but it is a possibility and could incur costs. So I feel
That's an objection, so it goes to a voice vote. Let me know when you're, or, yeah, roll call. Let me know when you're ready, Alyssa.
So we are doing roll call.
Yes.
Okay, just double checking. 30 seconds.
It could be a disbursement.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to pay that 10 cents per thousand, so regardless of whether they pay it, you know, anyone, you could be out there sending 50,000 emails a day.
We could already, we're not extending it to him.
Unless he's a candidate.
He already has it.
I am gonna get it, actually.
You are, I found my paperwork on Friday. See, there you go. So yes, we are extending that thing. Are we gonna change the membership level?
Oh, it's restricted access.
Ready when you guys are.
Okay, go ahead and call the roll.
Okay, do you want me to skip you, Evan, or
Yes,
go ahead? Okay, Vice Chair Lucy.
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes. Treasurer Michael.
Yes.
IT Director Chuck.
Yes.
Field Director Morgan.
Yes.
District 1 Chuck.
We just want to, we're gonna run to the corner farmers.
Did I catch him? Sorry.
No, he's muted. Mr. Paulin?
Do you want me to come back?
Mr. Poland, are you going to vote?
I can come back.
Yeah, I got a GPS. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, we'll get it taken care of. I just want to make sure we got the right stuff. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I don't know. It's unmuted there.
Is that background noise on Alyssa's end?
Oh, okay. Skip Chuck for now. Skip Mr. Poland.
I'll come back. District 2, Elizabeth.
Yes.
District 3, Christy.
Yes.
I heard her. District 4, Dennis.
Yes.
District 5, Greg Nolan.
Yes.
District 6, Luke.
Yes.
District 7, Kent.
Yes.
District 8, Jay.
Aye.
District 9, Greg.
Yes.
District 1, Chuck.
I was gonna say abstain.
Okay. And Evan.
All present.
I have.
Oh, hey, the treasurer would like to vote.
I already voted. This is point of information. The cost is 10 cents per 1,000 emails sent plus 12 cents for each gigabyte of attachments. As a point of information, for January, the LPIN paid 65 cents. For February, we paid 26 cents so far.
And I sent a shit ton of emails. Just throwing that out there.
Just send the treasurer's reports to everybody. You might get over $1.
When I saw that bill for 65 cents, I was like, how can that even be possible? I sent so many, like I'm sending emails like every other day. Like I really want to get it over $1. Okay, so that motion passed. That was all that I had for elections, other than making sure that your local candidates are submitting their information so that we can get them on the websites. We want to help them in any way, shape, or form. And I will be working with National to get this access level on for candidates. So thank you everyone for that.
Evan,
Yes, Mr. Nolan.
is we going to get a report from the political director or?
Sure.
I was wondering where we were at on how many U.S. congressmen and state congressmen I know we got the Senate tied up, so I was just wondering how the other offices were shaping up for this coming term.
We lost 2 congressional candidates. One decided to run as a Republican and one decided not to run at all.
This is for U.S.
This is for U.S. House. Ted Rusk has announced and asked for the support of the 7th district. Andrew Horning has announced and asked for the support of the 8th district. Tanya Millis has announced and requested the support of the 9th district. That is it for the congressional seats as of right now. We have the 2 U.S. Senate candidates for secretary, which is James Siniak and Will Henry. For Secretary of State, Jeff Moore has announced and is seeking our nomination. John Schick has not announced, but will be seeking our nomination for auditor. The other candidate that we had for treasurer decided not to run because of the GOP establishment basically threatening him. Yeah, which I was like, it's the treasurer, like, come on, that's stupid. Yeah, it's tied to your county.
Really?
Yeah.
Should I give them a call and tell them he's nothing to worry about? We've been spouting with that gentleman for a while.
This person owns a CPA firm who has some contracts with the state.
I see.
And they were basically told, if you win, you lose those contracts. If you lose those contracts.
Yeah. We can.
Yeah.
Is that in writing?
No, because I was even like, you know, we'll fight for you here.
I don't know if he's eligible if he's contracting with the state though.
There are ways that you can separate that as long as the contract existed beforehand. He just can't handle the account himself. Just ask Timekeeper.
Yeah.
AG.
For a time.
Really for elections?
Yeah. We
No,
already
did the
extended.
motion in between. Yeah. I anticipate that we'll have probably around 25 to 30 state legislative candidates.
State Senate.
state ledge. That's combination state house, state senate. We will have more post-convention. There will be significantly more post-convention. We will also have at least 5 candidates seeking our nomination from unaffiliated counties for local county races. There is also the potential that, as far as I'm aware, the first ever nomination at the state convention for a county prosecutor. Potentially 2. One being Grant County. The other one, I won't say it.
Not mine.
Not yours.
We are working in Hancock County.
So maybe 3. But those are, the prosecutors are always nominated at the state convention. And they fill out the CAN 23, which has also been an issue. They're not done yet. I talked to the state election division on Wednesday about the forms not being completed yet, as well as they still don't have the new district information in the voter registration system. And I said, when is this going to be done? And like, when I talked to the guy about it, I told him, let me walk you through a couple of scenarios of how bad this could be. And I did, and I said, now, as a libertarian, we have to think 30 moves ahead because we get challenged on these kind of technicalities all the time. If we get challenged on these technicalities and have to defend these in court, we will win. Because it's not our fault. We're filing paperwork correctly and accurately. But we're also going to turn around and sue the state because you failed to do your constitutionally required job. And we incurred losses because of it. And he said to me, I will give you daily updates next week.
Next year.
No, he's
Always comes back to that.
he's actually called me twice already this week to give me updates on where they're at. So I actually think it will be done next week, but he's gonna call me every day until it's done. So
That's awesome.
Can we get him for our share?
sure, call him up. I'll hand him the keys.
How many and who state legislative candidates have made any sort of announcement?
That have made announcements, not that I've.
Whether official or have to,
Like I said, we have about 30.
okay,
I've been runs the gambit.
including mine?
Yes. Actually, I didn't know that was for sure, so I'm not counting her.
She didn't announce,
Yeah.
but did speak to a
Yeah.
county party delegation.
The only county that I don't have anybody, a candidate in, is the first district.
What?
I don't have any candidates that I'm aware of in the first district.
You would extend.
Oh, you're talking about districts, not counties.
Districts.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda, because we are out of time, is the membership drive. Remember last month, we had dropped down to like about 489. We are back up to 514 as of yesterday morning. And currently we have 37 pending, not pending, but emails that I have contacted people that have lapsed within the last 60 days. And I've noticed that when they open those emails, they tend to respond by remote. It's just when they open them.
Yeah.
We did have the issue where the middle of January, new members or people who were signing up for a new membership tier, their transactions didn't actually happen. It happened in Civi and it was listed as a pending transaction, but it never actually went to the credit card processor. When I discovered it and took it to National, they said, yes, that is a known issue that we are dealing with. And I'm like, why am I hearing about it? Because I'm calling you. How long has this been a known issue? So we've been dealing with that and getting those memberships signed up. Of them, I believe there were 7. Of them, only 2 have actually gone through the process of re-signing up. If you ever have anybody that needs to, they express to you that they need to update their credit card information, again, put them in direct contact with either myself, with Chuck Hagerman, or with Michael Schulteis, because we can do it on the back end. It can't be done on the front end of the website. But we can do it. Michael might not know how yet.
I know how. I did it for Sam at the Hamilton County
See?
Convention.
Michael can do it too. District reps, you guys through the back end, and we will need to do training on this, are now able to process memberships as well. So when you sit down and do membership drives, you can actually, instead of telling them go to the website, you can actually bring up their profile and take their credit card over the phone and process their membership on the phone with them. And we'll do some training specifically on how to do that after the convention. When some of you leave, I don't have to repeat myself. Any questions about membership drive and report?
Who's at the top right now?
The district with the most members currently is District 8.
Fantastic. I love to hear it. No further questions, for sure.
Is there a caveat to that? Is that going to change when the redistricting happens?
No.
I probably have more.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is gaining counties.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm getting.
All we're doing is winning.
I'm getting Johnson.
Gaining counties is not winning. That's just more work.
Yeah, yeah, I'm Katie Johnson, it's the big blow for me.
HR policy, Mr. Pollan. The floor is yours for 2 minutes, Mr. Pollan, on the HR policy. Chuck, you're muted.
You robot?
He's in sleep mode.
Is that Chuck?
No, that was Chuck Hagerman asking Chuck if he's there. So it was the Chuck asking the Chuck. How much Chuck could Chuck would.
Okay, you just have to chuck that.
I'm going to move past the HR policy since Mr. Pollan doesn't seem to be responsive in here.
Point of information, I'm sorry, it's out of order, it just came through. If an individual wants to seek our nomination for a state house race and can't make it to convention, can't do any of that, can we do that on the back end? Like after, okay.
Oh, wait, they don't have to be present to be nominated at the convention.
They're probably not gonna be prepared.
Okay.
So you can do all that.
Okay.
Can we do it afterwards?
Yes, we can, as the state party, we can nominate to fill vacancies and
just vote on this board.
That's all it requires. Make sure. Okay. Bylaws committee. I'm just gonna jump in here before Mr. Nolan and say, I didn't receive any bylaws amendment requests from anybody, so I had nothing to forward. I did not get my amendment that I wanted to do for the campus affiliates completed. So I'm going to continue to work on that. And my intent will be post-convention is to actually basically send out a poll with the membership done by district, to send it to them, have a couple of discussions about it, and then present it to the board with that feedback.
Speaking of amendment bylaws,
The SCC can amend bylaws.
can we just to a vote of the delegation and then kind of use that as our benchmark that the membership has acquiesced to it?
What do you mean?
So like we have the state convention coming up in a few weeks. There will be a delegation there, basically a straw poll. Hey, delegates, we would like to add an amendment to allow for campus affiliates. We're still working on the wording. How do you feel about that? If there's no objection, I feel like, because it doesn't really seem like something anybody's gonna fight.
Yeah.
Do the bylaws require that you go to the districts? I mean, is there a process if you don't do it?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no, actually
Because this board can amend bylaws. It's just kind of bad form
We
to
just don't do it.
bypass
typically.
the full delegation.
Typically, if there's something we want to amend, we typically amend it in the standing rules.
No, and I think that's the right way to do it.
But we can do a bylaws amendment. I feel like there should be more discussion when it's fleshed out and finalized than something at the, does anybody object to this? Because we're gonna be creating a new membership tier and a new seat on the SCC.
The
I feel like,
voting seat?
yes, because they would be members. They'd be representing a block of members. So-
Yeah, and I don't think they'd be able to talk about it intelligently until it's finished, so.
So I feel like just trying to get like a straw poll probably wouldn't be a good idea at the convention because there's too much information, but maybe if we have like a talking session post-convention about it to take the temperature of the membership done district by district, then there's consensus or not consensus.
Elizabeth got kicked off.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We're at time.
If an amendment is put forward,
Any objection to extending by 5 minutes? Okay, hearing none.
so if, and I assume you'll be the one writing it, if you introduce that bylaws amendment, is that set in stone, take it or leave it, or what would be the process by which we would make amendments to the amendment?
At the board meeting, at the SCC meeting?
Period.
I mean, it could be amended at any time, it's a state bylaw amendment.
Okay, because like, personally, I'd be giving voting privileges to a student representative.
If they're a member. I think
Yes.
on the SCC.
Because of their constituency.
Every member of the SCC, with the exception of one director, and the only reason why was because she was too new to the party, has voting rights. And if a person is selected to be a representative to this board by a group of members, I feel like they should have a voting say.
And their constituency that will elect them will be this new membership tier, correct?
Yes.
And is Indiana residency required for that new membership? I think the smart answer would be no, right?
Right.
So now we get into this weird
But you have to
situation.
be living within a student in person at a school.
Yes, but they're not voters of the state of Indiana. So I think that does create,
Well, remember
I think it actually creates a legal situation.
Yeah, we can have whoever we want. Be members of our organization.
There's a legal prohibition on the Democratic side
Hold
for
on a
this
second.
exact reason.
Mr. Nolan, go ahead.
Was wondering, you bring up a good point that there's a lot to flush out for this.
Right.
May I suggest a separate committee to hammer out some of these details instead of taking the SCC's time?
I would agree to that, yeah. Would you, who would be, hold your tongue. Who would be interested in serving on that committee besides me and Mr. Solomon?
I do not volunteer for this. And it's not me trying to be a dick. I just don't have the time. My plate is full on that.
Bylaws committee?
No, this is a separate, this is.
A study
just
committee for just this issue.
Yeah, for just the development of campus, student membership and campus affiliates.
It's more than happy to testify to a committee like that with my concerns, but.
I'll help with it.
Mr. Nolan, since it was your suggestion, do you have any recommendations for board members? Of the committee?
I mean, I'm even sitting here, the number of things that I run through my head is that's going, what do you mean by suggestion for board members?
Who should be on the committee?
To be on the committee, you mean?
Yeah,
Well, Rosalind Collin?
No.
She's a, no?
no,
I mean, you
she's not, she is not been present as the student director, therefore I would hesitate to put her on a committe.
Do we have another,
That position after.
do we
the
have
convention.
another student? I heard you mention a couple, one at Ball State and someplace else. That it seems like we should put some kind of a student on the committee. That might be helpful get their perspective.
Actually, I'm gonna force somebody to be on it. I'm gonna nominate them in abstention, and they want to do it because we talked about wanting to do this. Dr. Demir Kavar, professor at IU. Myself, Mr. Joe Houtman, who is a member of the state party and former state chair, has requested, by raising his hand multiple times, he would like to be on the committee. Mr. Nolan, would you like to be on the committee?
I'll be on the committee if you want.
Okay. And let the record reflect, I'm actively wanting to be on a committee with Mr. Nolan.
Hey.
I can be the chair, it'll probably be telepresence for me most of the time.
It'll all be telepresence.
I can do it.
And Mr. Lomax. Is there anybody else that would want to be on this committee?
I will check with Chris. Campus.
Could you repeat those names just to make sure I have them all?
Myself, Demir Kavar from Monroe County, Joe Houtman from Boone County, Greg Nolan from Madison County, Luke Lomack from Hancock County, and pending acceptance, Chris Galt from Morgan County. That's what you said. Right? Okay.
Who was Hancock County? Sorry.
Luke Lomax.
Are you chair of that committee, Evan?
Sure. Yes.
That was the pending approval.
And what was the official name of the committee?
I think I can just approve the committee because it has no authority. It's just
It's a study
it's-
committee.
Yeah, so I don't think I have to have any approval for it.
I think you need to have the approval of people that you're asking to sit on it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we don't need the approval to have the committee because it has.
Understanding is that a study committee is the chair's problem.
Yeah. And I'm going to set a deadline of the final work product of the committee to be presented to the SCC no later than 60 days after the state convention.
Work time.
Okay. So that committee, the chair is creating that study committee. Those are the members, and they'll report back to the SCC within 60 days of the state convention. Okay. Did you have anything to add, Mr. Nolan?
No, sir. We might want to do some research as to what the old parties do and what maybe other state affiliates are doing that have, if you know of any.
Zero.
My specific objection ties directly to a conversation I had with the, at the time, USI College Democrats president, who pointed out that the College Democrat representative on the SCC doesn't have voting rights precisely because they are elected by a constituency, which is not guaranteed to be Indiana voters, and that ran counter to something in the letter of the law.
As a private,
Because it was
as a private
essentially-
organization can make our membership, and they can't be officers. There's a difference.
But still, to have a vote on the central committee of this board,
Doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure that counts as an officer.
Nope. Different.
You would have to require the member of the board to be an actual LPIN member.
You're a district director.
Okay, but we're gonna do this in the committee.
Right.
And I would to submit questions to the committee and maybe attend one of the pre-sessions before the committee presents its findings.
I mean, I would just recommend a legal counsel, that not me, because I'm not a lawyer, disclaimer, just in case anyone was confused again.
Yeah.
The
Thanks,
lawyer.
Jay.
Yes, sir.
Good point, Jay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Moving on, affiliation request. Monroe, and I did put Monroe, didn't I? Okay, good. Monroe County held their organizing convention. And I will state that we received all the correct paperwork. I just, their county affiliate has actually kept their paperwork open since 2015, even though they were disaffiliated. The last treasurer was depositing $5 a month into the bank account to keep the bank account active and not incur any fees.
Wow.
So since 2015, he's been pumping $5 into the account every month.
I think he needs to be a lifetime member then.
And he was actually he was the last state party member for most of that period. But he was also filing a report with the county clerk every time.
Even after disaffiliation?
Yep, he kept it going. He kept the paperwork going because there was money in the account. It was so can't be dissolved. So he kept filing. So it was an interesting turn of events where like
So the affiliate existed continuously. It's just their affiliation with the state party was broken.
yes.
Okay.
It's also in a weird quagmire because they had no chair. They had a treasurer, but they had no chair. And it's questionable whether or not they really had a treasurer because they never had a convention where they were electing new officers. So it technically should have been dissolved by default, but he kept filing the paperwork, which was fascinating.
And who's this?
Bill. Which county?
Milroy.
Milroy.
Bill. Pause for Bill.
Yeah, no joke.
Go Bill, that's kind of cool.
He is actually a lifetime member of the National Party. And he became a lifetime member.
1988.
Yeah.
So then he was default
Yeah.
grandfathered in as a.
Correct, but he didn't know that.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think that was the case at the time either. But he had his original membership card.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
he showed it to me and I was like, wow, this is history. One, it's ugly as shit. It's cool. That's really cool. But yeah, they held their, and I want to say, I've been impressed with almost every single new affiliate and how they try to approach their organizing convention with professionalism. They ask questions, they try to be prepared. I have not seen a county convention be as organized, a current old-time county affiliate for their county convention be as organized and prepared as Dr. Demir Kavar was for his organizing convention.
And he was elected as chair?
Yes, it was amazing, the work that he put together. He has digital files of everything, and then he printed them off and he had QR codes to link to them.
Oh.
It was, I mean, beautiful. He had business meetings scheduled in advance. You know, he did all of the things right. He was on top of it. When we got the paperwork sorted out, because it took an extra couple of days because the committee still technically existed and we didn't want to, close it just to move it to the state. So we wanted to keep it there in Monroe County. That took a little bit of time, but I called him and said, everything's finished. Here's the paperwork. He had it filed that day. He drove and got everybody's signatures they needed to get and filed it that day. So with that, there is a request for affiliation for Monroe County. Mr. Hirsch.
Make the motion to affiliate Monroe County.
It's been moved by Mr. Hirsch and seconded by Mr. Rigg. All those in favor of accepting the affiliation of Monroe County, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, congratulations, Monroe County. Officially considered affiliated in time for their delegation to count for the state convention, and they will be presented with an affiliation certificate at the state convention. Excellent. Next item on the agenda, if you want to start talking over, is G Suite. And while it's labeled with me, I'm going to have Mr. Schulteis kick this off.
So G Suite is now called Google Workspace. As Evan mentioned earlier, they had a free tier that Google stopped allowing new signups in December of 2012. It is now nearly a decade later, and Google has decided to no longer offer that free tier. It is one of the major email providers in the world, Google and Microsoft being the largest providers. I did look into the cost for a similar tier for Microsoft. It's roughly $5 per user per month. The recommended plan that Evan and I are suggesting is $6 per user per month. So there's negligible savings. I believe the base tier from Microsoft does not give us the same options for all the additional features we're using, such as Google Drive, which is similar like a Dropbox where we can store digital files. We do have decades of email stored in our email archives. It would be potentially prohibitively expensive to move that elsewhere. It's also very difficult to get emails delivered if you're not using one of the major services. So while we may be able to save monetarily, we may not be able to get our emails read when we're sending them. So I both recommend that we go with the lowest tier for the paid support for Google Workspace. It's $6 per user per month. We're estimating we'll have 20 active users. We'll get our user count down so we're not paying for people who are not actively using the service.
That will
loss of function from what is currently being used.
Not, this would just basically it would be continuing the same service.
We'd actually get
we'd
more
gain
features
service.
since we'd be on a paid tier.
Couple of points for this. Ken Molman, who's on the national tech team, who's the current vice chair of the national party, also saw this. Kentucky also uses the same system. There's a couple of states that use G Suite. National is developing and I'm just giving you information. National is developing a G Suite alternative to be done by the state party or by the national party. That would be a flat fee for the state regardless of users. And I said, that's dope. Let me know when it's fully functional and we'll consider it then.
So we'll never have to discuss.
He said Monday.
Right. He said
Next
Monday,
week for sure.
Monday.
Yeah.
100% count on it. Some of the things that we're talking about would actually be nice to be self-hosted. So I don't want to dismiss it out of hand. I also want it to be fully developed and functioning. I don't want it to be a test case in an election cycle.
Yeah.
That's not a good idea. There is also the situation with, because we are G Suite, email, when I send an email to somebody outside of our network, it has a higher chance of going through. We know that we have a really high open rate within Civi. We have the highest open rate. It's still very difficult because it's not coming from Gmail. That would be even worse if I'm sending somebody, if I see that somebody's not opening their emails on Civi, and then I personally email them or Chuck personally emails them, and then they don't see that email either because it's not, that's bad. The other side to this is we've been talking about how we would pare down some of the emails that we currently use. My recommendation would actually be to remove all directors from the LPIN.org email system and move them to the .vote or .team. And to remove basically everything that's not officer or district or HQ.
So
Because we
district
have-
emails will still say the same.
Yeah, district would say the same, but that way, if we add more directors, we don't have to worry about, we have to come up with $6 a month for a year. We may or may not stay. I would want to move them all to .team or .vote.
Is there like any kind of penalty for adding or removing users if somebody becomes inactive? So the reason why I ask is So I know for the county email address, I had to create a separate Gmail account. It would be really nice if if it looked more official and wasn't just a Gmail account. You know what I mean? If it actually said hancockcounty@lpin.org.
You can have.
And so my county would be able to put that in there.
.vote,
It'd be a .vote.
which is free that we offer to counties now.
Okay.
I also don't think it would be prudent to remove email addresses. So I mean, we'll pick on Jared as one. You know, the LPIN still intends to have a political director. If we decided right now, hey, Jared's just not doing the job, let's kick him off the board, and we vote to do that.
Still have that email.
We would still have an email address with all the relevant information, and whoever the next political director is could swing into that.
Right.
Well, what I want to do is I want to transition them now. So I would want to take Chuck now and move him to tech@lpin.vote and have a mail forwarder going from lpin.org to his .vote. He would not have an account. And correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have to ever end that. That email address can still be in existence, the like tech@lpin.org. He's just not a G Suite user, is that correct?
Correct, we transitioned that to a group, so
Is that alias? So they call it?
essentially an alias.
But so if some legacy person out there years from now watches a video and sees me saying IT@lpin.org, oh crap, I mean tech, and one of them, pick one, and they choose to email that, it could still go to Chuck at tech@lpin.vote without us having to pay the $6 a month per email. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Okay, fine, understanding.
Okay. That's what
And
I was
another
saying.
point, we have not been paying for this for over a decade, so that's literally over $10,000 in savings.
Do the directors have anything that is on G Suite right now on Google Drive or anything that they absolutely can't lose? And what would be the process for offloading that stuff? Because I know that like when I log in at lpn.org, I have access to a lot of stuff from District 6 that has nothing to do with me, but it's really interesting to go through there because some of that stuff is in.
We can still share files and they can still be able to edit. However, they would not be able to create new documents without somebody creating it for them.
Would that cause you a problem, Chuck? Like because you're probably the most tech involved director, being the tech director. Like, would that cause you problems to not be able to create stuff in G Suite and?
No, I've not really created much other than this form that I'm being asked, so.
Okay.
Which you could have said, hey, create a sheet.
Does the executive committee use it frequently?
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then what about like Morgan? Morgan, do you have any concerns with that? Because I mean, I really want to get input from the directors. Because if you've got stuff that you have to be able to do on G Suite that you won't be able to do anymore, like it's important that if we need those users and they're gonna use it, because like Morgan's involved.
Well,
Chuck's involved, right?
I mean, if nothing else, what he could have done was create a folder for this. And not give it to tech, but give it to Chuck Hagerman at Gmail.
Right, and then you can.
And then I just go in as myself and do whatever the hell I want.
That's correct, yeah.
And same thing with Evan or anyone else.
And actually, he could create it the same way. He could go to, Chuck it.
And then share it with himself.
And then share it with the state party, and then we have it in our folder.
Yeah.
It does create a couple of extra steps.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
But to say $6 a month for something that you use maybe once or twice a month, like,
right.
That might be prudent.
Yeah.
That seems like fiscal responsibility to me.
Yeah, like a director, you could probably create a folder for that director, give his personal email that, and he would just do everything in there for his whole term.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't have to keep a new one. And then he would then manage, okay, I'm sharing this with Danny, because we're working on this project. I'm sharing this with you, and they're different folders, and I'm managing,
Good question, though. You don't want to lose that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so everyone's managing their own, because they go with their creating that folder.
He's been working on.
He's been working on something?
I mean, I assume that's why he hadn't made it here, that he was just so
So
busy.
busy, just.
Is that not what's going on?
You should know.
Jay, are you being facetious? No.
I mean, the other thing is, everything that's been created by all of the accounts is still in the account.
Okay.
Like it's part of the state party. So like I can see the work that Jared was supposed to be doing. I have those sheets. I'm on them. Ones that are created by us have shared out, but the ones created by them, we see automatically. We'll me and Michael do as administrators.
We do have the ability to change ownership, so if we do get rid of a director account, we can have an existing user have access.
To all of their stuff.
We can also export stuff, like Alyssa used to be our business manager, and when she stepped down from that role, we were able to export all of her.
Yeah, so if I up and leave, you
information.
could just assign my folder to the new tech director. So.
Yeah.
And you know, the one thing that would change is not really even that, like the calendar. Like I invite Danny to our calendar events all the time, and they're outside the organization. It always asks me, are you sure they're outside your organization? Because Luke Lomax refuses to use his district email address. So, you know, that's the other thing, but like I said, it's just an extra step. And it's in that case, it's literally just saying, are you sure you want to send it to these crazy people? Michael, how would you like a motion?
Move that the SCC authorized expenditure up to $2,000 per year for Google Workspace. Is
that real math or just?
It's yes math, because we estimated 20 users, so that'd be 120 times 12, so 1,440. I don't know if there's taxes or future price increases.
Or additional users. We may decide to want to put the directors back in.
And we can amend that later.
Mr. DeSabre?
Do you pay monthly or do you pay by year?
I don't know. We have to.
I'm pretty sure it's monthly.
I think it's because we did the same thing in the district. We have a G suite.
Is this going to be a budget item going forward and you just need this motion until the next budget's approved?
It would be in the budget, but we need the authorization now. It would be an already expense item in the budget. But we would need the motion now so that we can make the transition over to Google Workspace. Does that make sense, Mr. Nolan?
I think that's what I said. You just needed a transition motion here. And in the future, this would be buried in the budget that we approve. Is that correct?
Right. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Michael, could you just repeat it a little louder just to make sure I got the wording right?
I move that the SEC approve a expenditure of up to $2,000 per year for Google Workspace for initially for 20 user accounts to be adjusted as needed by the.
Just leave it at 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah. You're kidding, Wayne. Approve the expenditure of up to $2,000 per year for Google
Workspace.
Not per year, right? Just this year.
Up to, and it's per year.
In this current year.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. So
would it be this year?
It's starting May of 2022.
So half a year.
Or
starting May.
So moving forward, it'll be more than this year.
Yes. The motion has been made. Is there a second? I'm going to recognize Mr. Lomax as the second. This is an expenditure of funds, so this is a roll call vote. Let me know when you're ready for the roll call vote, Melissa.
Yeah, sorry, my phone's slowly dying. Give me 30 seconds to. Who seconded the motion? Sorry.
Luke Lomax.
Thanks.
Somebody need coffee?
You did.
I never got it from her.
No, she brought it. She poured it out.
Oh, okay.
This is just magically.
Evan?
Yes, Mr.
Evan,
Miller.
the motion in the chat calls for $2,000 per year.
Up
It's
to.
not, it's not supposed to be per year, right? This
It
is
is
just a
per
this is just a
No.
transition.
It's every year. It is an ongoing monthly fee.
I see what he's saying. What he's saying is, because this is going to become a budget item, once that is in the budget item, we still have this resolution on the books.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, are we gonna approve this in the budget after convention?
It'll be tied into the convention and then it has to be approved. So.
And it doesn't start until May?
Right.
So do we need to do this now?
Yeah, because we need to have we need to codify that the board agreed to do it before. We need to start doing the transition now.
Instead of just saying up to 2,000 a year to be included in the budget, and then we can just vote on it as the whole budget. Would that make more sense to you, Mr. Nolan?
Yeah, this is supposed to be a transitional motion. So it shouldn't say per year. I would have to oppose a statement that would say we do that every year going forward. It might be $3,000 and you just have this motion on the floor. So it ought to be tied to the budget going forward. This should just be a transitional, and I ask for a friendly amendment to remove per year.
Well, I think now that we're sitting here thinking about this.
So what I would be doing is by just removing the words per year would mean that it is
A one time.
it is for 2022. It is authorized for 2022. It will be line item to the budget as already approved by resolution. Every year thereafter, it will have to be approved as part of a budget item. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Nolan?
I think, yes. To get us to between now and the next budget that's approved, we should approve that now. And then going forward, it should be a line item in the budget that we approve as a budget.
So our current budget covers up until convention, correct?
Yeah, it ends in, when does it end?
So we're not talking about any expenditure of funds before our next budget approval anyway. So I don't have.
Why don't we do this?
We don't actually need to expend funds on this motion.
The downside of it is we are committing today to do this transition. When the budget is set by the next SCC, they may decide they don't want to, but we've already started committed to the process of transition. They may not want to authorize that in the budget. But we've already started the process of doing it.
I think it would be prudent to just resolve now to include this expense in the budget and then just leave that for the budget portion.
We have to start the transition now, but we're not going to transition it unless we've committed to it for the next year.
But we don't have to expend funds until May.
We will have to, because we have to start the transition.
Once we start the transition, we're doing it.
We have to pay $6 a month starting with our transition, because I'm assuming, right? Like it starts immediately, even though it's not required until May. Since we're getting ready to come up on a convention, it's better to get this started right now so that we've got it all in place by the time we have to go in May anyway. So we're basically paying an extra 3 extra months.
To do it, we could wait till May. We are starting the transition now so that we're not doing it halfway through the election cycle.
Yeah, I'm not saying wait till May. I'm saying wait till the budget is approved in like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. And we just go.
Is there anything that doesn't?
I see what Evan's wanting to say.
The next SCC comes up, I want him to be on vote.
Like already at convention,
Yeah.
what that happened.
At the convention meeting.
Right, so he could tell everybody.
Evan?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I see what you're saying. Again, I think if we just say $2,000 and then in budget after next, that it becomes a budget item, that would be okay with me, I think. I just, I just don't like every year as part of the motion that we've got before us right now. So however you want to word it, so it comes out that way is where I'm at.
Could we just say for 2022 and leave it at that?
Yes. That would work.
Hang
And
on one
then-
second. I'll read it back.
And then it has to be approved every year thereafter in the budget.
So it won't be a budget item for this convention, but it will for
Correct.
23. Correct.
It will be listed in the budget as an already approved expense.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you should still put in, but Mike's got a,
I'm going to recognize Mr. Hagerman first.
Do we even need any money? Do we just really need a motion to begin the transition? So do we need any money until this gets voted into the budget?
Potentially, yes.
Google's requesting payment information. They will start charging at some time in the future. I don't believe it's.
So it may be
immediately,
before
but it may be.
we're ready if we don't vote for it today.
But the other thing is I don't like to have things that aren't funded. Because that leaves you in a predicament where you say,
You started and
"Hey, we're
now-
gonna do this thing," but then you're like, oh, but now we don't have the money.
I need
for it."
$5. We're
Right.
like, crap.
Yeah. Mr. Schulteis.
Our budget tends to go from convention to convention. So if we say 2022, what happens for January through March or whenever the 2023 convention is?
So what is our fiscal year, March to March, basically?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's our
It's January to December for filing purposes, but our budget tends to be convention to convention.
The whole thing is written out as a year, but we typically do things based on the convention cycle.
So can we amend 2022 until the 2023 LPIN convention? Is that agreeable to the rest of this board?
How about authorized to spend up to $2,000 through the 2023 convention, LPIN convention.
I have no objection to that.
There you go. Does that work for you, Mr. Nolan? Okay. I'm going to accept that as the wording of the chain.
I'll still second.
It's, who is the mover? Mr. Schulteis, do you accept that as the main motion?
Yes.
Okay, and so does the seconder. The seconder was Mr. Lomax. Ready to proceed to a roll call vote whenever you're ready, Alyssa.
Okay, Chair Evan.
Skip.
Skip, okay. Vice Chair Lucy.
Yes.
Secretary is yes. Treasurer Michael.
Yes.
IT Director Chuck.
Yes.
Field Director Morgan.
Yes.
Hang on a second. District 1, Chuck. He's still gone.
Chuck fell asleep.
No, I think he said he was having an issue at work. District 2, Elizabeth.
Yes.
District 3, Christy.
Yes.
District 4, Dennis.
Yes.
District 5, Greg.
yes.
District 6, Luke.
Yes.
District 7, Kent.
Yes.
District 8, Jay.
Yes.
District 9, Greg.
Yes.
Back to Evan.
Present.
Did Chuck ever come back online?
Yeah, I'm here. I apologize.
That's
We're
okay.
having fires at work. District 1I.
He's awake. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chuck.
All right.
Yeah, Evan, you've worked in you've worked in this field enough to know that people always call you at the worst time, right?
Absolute worst time. Hey, at least you're not into like hour 72 of a 100-hour render when somebody does something on Facebook that causes your computer to crash.
Well, that's basically what I'm dealing with now is somebody called me and I couldn't get back into the meeting again.
Okay, so that motion passed. Thank you, everybody. District conventions.
Point of,
Yes.
you want to go back and finish HR policies since Chuck's back?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Actually, we did skip something.
Yeah.
District 8 disbursement.
We added that as item E.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing, wait.
9E.
No, that was under unfinished business.
Okay.
Oh, you're right, we did skip me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna circle back to that now before we do the district conventions. Go ahead, Mr. Solomon.
So I believe I discussed this last month. District 8 is setting up a recurring monthly donation a la the 1994 Society. It's sitting on Andy Burns' desk, and I do appreciate Mr. McMahon following up on that for me. But until then, we are still kind of stalled out on our fundraising. So I wanted to go ahead and request a $250 disbursement as is the standing policy. So I will move to request $250 be sent to the District 8.
This is for the property lease also. Still.
Yes.
Okay. I will second the motion.
Okay. Mr. Schultes?
Is this in addition to the typical annual disbursement, or will this be a pre-allocation for 2020?
What is your request? Are you asking for a pre-allocation?
Okay, so I guess that's a procedural question. Is that, would it be considered a pre-allocation or is it
Normally
additional?
runs convention to convention, right?
Right, and
Yeah, I
District 8 had
have,
already
yes.
received it.
Just gonna scan the room. If I did request an additional reimbursement, what, anybody? Nobody's even looked at it.
Do you trust me to speak for a second?
Is it a
I don't like the wording of that question.
Is it a reimbursement that it's already been paid?
No, I mean, we,
Is it a reimbursement or a disbursement?
It's a disbursement.
I mean, I'm asking the SCC for money for the district. That's really. what
So
it is.
every district gets an annual disbursement allocation of $250, but it's convention to convention. So he's asking to either receive an additional $250 for this previous year, or to have next year's post-convention disbursement for the now.
The 400 of us can get away with it.
Regardless of who the next SCC rep might be for the 8th district. Maybe then, maybe not. We may disagree.
But they still have their own building. How many counties in your district use that?
Not as many. as
Really, most of them.
that they should be using it for.
Okay.
Really, all of the active counties get some use out of it. The ones that have been stalled out, obviously.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I would like for us to be able to demonstrate to our districts and to our counties that when they need a helping hand, we will help them. The district has been doing the things that they need to do to raise the money. The lack of that has not been because of them. It has been a tie-up at national. We've been working on getting that resolved. However, they have the financial need now, and they are in the libertarian thing, which is honoring the commitment they made. They are paying their lease. My recommendation is to make this an additional one-time disbursement of $250 that does not count against next year's disbursement. This is a one-time deal for this purpose, and I would do the same thing at the same value for any other district if they had a district headquarters. Yeah. Because it's something that I believe is necessary for our counties to have access to, for our districts to have. I think was a good idea. Like I said, they can raise the money. They're just being kind of hamstrung by national right now. And to be fair, Andy is one dude who makes less than $50,000 a year, and he has to deal with all my bullshit on top of every other state. I've never seen it. Yeah, it's really cool. Pretty cool.
Not in the winter, it's not.
So the way
Really cold.
the way I heard your motion was that you were requesting an additional $250 for the 8th district.
Yes.
Is that Ms. Avery?
I'm just wondering if the other counties in the district contribute financially to the office or not.
When they can. County fundraising for most of the counties doesn't really allow them, like, they just don't have left over. The district committee has no real authority to compel them to do so. Vandenberg County generally contributes when they're able and when they're asked. And when Knox County's fundraising is good, which it is not, they contribute a substantial amount too.
Did you give out all the prizes from the rifle raffle?
Yes.
I thought I heard a Bowman say they didn't get the
Sorry, what?
Andrew Bowman, Megan Bowman, I don't know which one.
Did either of them win anything?
I thought, I'm just going by what I'm being told. And I know the 8th district has come before to ask for money before, so it does get a little.
I agree, and
Hopefully.
my issue here, like Evan pointed out, is that we started this process months ago in anticipation of getting to this point, and the centralized nature of National City Project, it's all choked up at one point, and that's cost us fundraising.
This was supposed to have been set up before holiday party.
Yes.
And it's been an ongoing struggle to get it done, but it's legitimately, like, we have an agenda that we work from, and it's in line as a high priority. Because yours has to be done first so that we can do it for everybody else. And we're going to do it for everybody else. There is a motion on the table, so the motion continues, but it moves to a vote.
Will be a second, and then if Ms. Avery has
Mr.
further
Lo-
objection, we should be able to.
Yeah, I will
Mr.
second.
Lomax, second. Disbursement, but it's less than $500. Is there any objection to a voice vote? Okay, hearing no objection, motion on the table is to disperse $250 one time to the 8th district for the payment of their lease. It does not count against their future allocation, district allocation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Giving Zoom a chance to weigh in. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Mr. Schulteis, can you make that payment to them verbally digitally? And you still
While
have
we're
all
talking
that
about
time.
that, did you come up with forms to get our triple membership digitally?
No, I thought Mr. Schulteis was doing that.
I'll work on that.
Thank you, Mr. Schulteis. Appreciate you. District conventions, just from the district reps. Your district convention is the 26th of this month for the 8th district. Is that what I said earlier? She said earlier, it's what I wrote down.
I mean, I remember. 28.
28th.
Yeah.
26, yeah, that's me, you're right.
Okay, in order, Mr. Poland, have you guys set a district convention for District 1?
No, we have not.
Okay. Please do that prior to the convention, the state convention, I mean. You would have to do it before your district convention.
Does the convention have to happen before the state convention?
At the start of the business meeting, the secretary must receive in writing who the district elected district rep from the district is. Otherwise, it's considered vacancy. And you know what happens when there's a vacancy.
From the chair of the county with the most package.
They call the convention.
But who does Alyssa need that in writing from? That's relevant.
It could be from the current district rep, it could be from the county chair, the leading county chair. In your case, because you are an organized committee, it would be from the district chair. District 2, Ms. Kokolar.
I am in contact with all of my chairs in an email. I had raised the offer of doing it in person, but it's getting closer to convention. Email vote is fine, correct? As long as all the chairs. Okay, so we're going to do an email vote on the 19th.
On the 19th?
Yes.
Ms. Avery.
I have no date and I don't have contact information for the chairs of my new, because we're doing it with the new ones, right?
Correct. These are
So
the new
I'll need
districts.
contact information for
I will,
Katie and,
I promise.
right?
And to
I can't
God,
access that.
vow
because
on
it's the whole district.
YouTube live stream that will be done by Monday.
What, which Monday?
This Monday, hold on.
Valentine's Day.
I don't, that's Barry, I don't give a shit. By end of business, which is 5 PM Eastern Standard Time on February 14th, 2022 AD,
You guys are all my witnesses.
I will have the district maps redone in Civi and district reps reconnected to their new counties within the district. Okay, do you need any more specificity on that?
No, I'll do it.
Okay,
Will you send us an email when that's done, please?
sure.
He just told me that.
Looking for that timestamp.
Okay, District 4, Mr. B. Are you there, Dennis?
I'm here, just getting to the mute button. We have nothing set up right now. I guess it's kind of the first I'm aware that I need to do this before the convention, because I know at National we kind of do that sort of thing at. So I will be looking into getting something set up then to get that done before convention time.
Okay, also, pro tip, if you guys need to use the Zoom account because you'd like to do it via Zoom, let me know in advance and we can set it up for you, okay?
Okay.
Please keep me updated on that, Mr. Beatty.
Will do.
As same. District 5, Mr. Nolan.
It is my understanding that I am not the chair of that. I have provided the lead county chair, who is supposed to be calling the meeting, with all the names, emails, and phone numbers of all the chairmen that are in the 5th district. So I will write her again and tell her that she's only got 2 or 3 weeks to call that meeting.
I'm going to recognize Ms. Avery for a second.
That is correct, right? The lead chair is supposed to call the meeting, not the district rep, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
However, if the lead county does not call one and there is no election,
No, I mean, what if one of the other chairs doesn't respond?
then they don't vote.
Yeah, as long as you have a quorum.
Yeah.
Did I hear that correctly, that like interim chairs don't vote?
Interim chairs can vote. No, she was saying, she asked, what if a chair within a county doesn't respond to a vote? And they don't have to, they just don't vote.
Okay, so as interim chair until our convention, then I can vote for myself.
Right, or somebody else who's nominated, or, yeah.
Are there core rules for that?
Nope.
No.
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
you get advance notice and then it's like, hey, we told you, you didn't show up.
However, if that count, like Mr. Nolan says, if the lead district or if the main county does not call it, it doesn't exist.
Okay.
So, you know, if that doesn't happen, it is a vacancy, and then that vacancy has to get filled. Make sense?
And we're operating under the new districts for this?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh.
There's always a catch.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I got Travis's.
District 6, Mr. Lomax.
We don't have anything on the books yet, but I'm working it out in my head how we're gonna get me and Matt together in the same room, so.
District 7, Mr. Williams, were you reelected at your are you here, Mr. Williams? Yeah, you are.
I'm still here.
Were you reappointed at the county convention?
Yes, in the sense that no one else stepped up to challenge. They accepted. Apparently it didn't come up, but
I mean, all Rico. Mr. Williams, please get with Rico and tell him that he needs to send an email to the state party, letting them know that you are who the district rep will be.
okay.
An appointment by the Marion County Chair. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't pick it, but.
No, this is done. For 7, District 8, yours is on February 26th. Sir, Mr. Hirsch.
That's for District 9. My assumption is Lawrence County, the one who called this.
The county with the most members.
It's yeah, county with the most members.
I'll check that.
Okay. Please let us know when that's happening.
Will do.
Okay. Next item is Morgan County. This is another expenditure. Morgan County is requesting that the state party sponsor or co-host an event with them. They are, I'm going to briefly talk about it, and then we'll let Danny talk about it a little bit more. They're holding an event on May 7th in Morgan County. It's a day of volunteerism, or it's a volunteering day. It's a get out the vote. What they're going to do is they're going to have a day of training people on how to go door to door using eCanvasser. They're going to then go door to door on behalf of the U.S. Senate candidate or SOS candidate, the congressional candidate, and then their local candidate in Morgan County. This will all be documented. The data will be shared with the state party because data is coming from the state parties. And what they do, we will get back. It'll be benefiting the counties as well as they will be logging who participated, who was trained, and now who's available to do that work throughout the campaign season. They have a room that they're renting for the day. They're running breakfast and lunch. The room rental alone was $150. So figuring 2 meals, I figured we could do $200. That was my suggestion to Danny. Mr. Lund, would you like to say anything else?
That pretty much covers it. I mean, that's the idea. Is it's an all-day event. You can work both shifts, morning and afternoon, or you can come for one. We'll do a training session over coffee and donuts in the morning, and then we'll send you out preferably in pairs. Somebody who's door knocked before, somebody who's not door knocked before. That way we get training. We can do this experience. I also want the LPIN to help promote it. Via email, let everybody know we're having this event so they can mark it on their calendar, come down, get this training. We're trying to get, Don Rainwater, our candidates, whichever Senate candidate, we can have them there. We'll have Jeff Moore there. So we'll have candidates in the district going out. It's one of the most populated districts in Kristen's area. So the idea is that we'll canvass that all day. That's what we're getting out of it. But then also we want to bring in as many people as we can from around the state, train them how to properly use eCanvasser, train them on how to fill out the questionnaire in there so that we have retained data. And so it's a big training event. I think it'll benefit the party as a whole.
And that's why we're asking for the LPIN to maybe help us out a little bit with the expense.
Because it's really not a Morgan County event, it's open to the whole state.
It's open to the whole state.
You send your own people there, get them trained, and then they come back to your district.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We want you to send us people. We'll do a formal training, and then you can take that knowledge back home, bring some more people from your race. So that's the idea. What we're getting out of it is we're getting, a major district canvas, but we also want to make sure people are using the canvasser properly, make sure they understand how to knock on a door properly, all those things, right? So it's training that's needed, and we've got a space and an availability to do it, so we're good to do it.
Danny?
Yeah.
Yes.
Danny, what motion are you wanting us to consider?
Evan had suggested donating $200 to the cause.
Okay, I so move.
Okay, the motion has been moved by Mr. Nolan, seconded by Mr. Brigg. Any objection to a voice vote?
Could you repeat the motion? Sorry. That went really fast.
The motion is to authorize expenditure of $200 to the Libertarian Party of Morgan County as a co-sponsor and host of a Get Out the Vote Action Day. Did you get all that?
No, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
It was $200. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's 200.
You said, did you say 200?
She said 4.
I didn't catch that. What was that?
200.
Right. That's what I got.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Okay, I thought she said 4, sorry.
Any objection to a voice vote? Hearing none. That doesn't count. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Lundy, Mr. Schulteis will make arrangements to send that payment as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to ask that we move, we're not done, but the executive session, because we can't pause the live stream, what I'm going to suggest is that we take announcements now. Because there's somebody who would like to speak on announcements, that we take those announcements now, and then we go into executive session.
Did you not want to pick up HR policy?
No.
Okay.
Is there any objection to that? No. Okay, hearing none. Is there anybody who would like to make an announcement? Recognize Mr. Houtman from Boone County.
I suppose I only have to introduce myself to the people on Zoom, because I think I know absolutely everyone else here.
Yeah.
My name is Joe Halpman. I've served as chair 3 times here in Indiana, and I am running for the 2nd time. Hopefully it won't be 3rd time the charm. We'll try for 2nd for the national vice chair at the convention in Reno. I admit 4 years ago, I was worried about the future of the party. Now I'm actually worried about the future of the country.
Yes.
I believe that the LP is what the nation needs, and quite frankly, right now, we're not ready for it. Indiana has done a wonderful job, and you would not believe how encouraging it was sitting here. The growth we've done, the professionalism, the focus is just mind-boggling for someone who's been at this since 1980. We need that at national. We need to stop talking to ourselves and start talking to the voters.
Yes.
We need to stop providing what we need and start providing what they need. And I think Indiana's done a wonderful job. I'm the one who asked for the list of the delegates, and I will be using them. And for those of you who will be a delegate to our state convention, I'm asking for your support to send me to Reno. Quite frankly, it'd be rather embarrassing to not be a delegate and running for national vice chair. And for those of you who will be joining us in Reno, I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Houtman. Any other announcements?
If someone could tell me who the officers are for Monroe County, I'd appreciate it.
Yes. Not right now.
Oh, not right now. At some point.
Next, on Monday.
Yeah. If there
I
are,
have an announcement.
Mr. Nolan, go ahead.
Madison County will have their convention tomorrow before the Super Bowl from 1 to 2. So you're all welcome to come up and Madison County hospitality.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Where's it going to be at, Greg?
The Anderson Public Library.
Back there?
Oh.
See you tomorrow.
I'll bring the beer.
Excellent. We are not adjourning. If there are no other announcements, we are going to move into executive session. So I need everyone who is not a voting board member to please exit the room. And I'm going to be kicking a couple people off of Zoom.
Are the two of you hanging around or?
Oh, you want to kick me off, Evan, but
Not this time. Michelle, I'm gonna have to.
Well, it's scheduled for 45
Okay, you
minutes.
got it.
Yeah, 'cause Jason-
Let's see, who else? Is Cassie still on? Cassie is not still
Hey, the
on.
8th district, when we meet, we adjourn early, every time.
And I'm going to stop the live cast now. So everybody who may be watching at home, we're going into executive session to discuss litigation, which is on our agenda. And we will be adjourning after that, but we won't be adjourning on the Zoom or on the YouTube channel. So thank you for coming.